Melbourne town where the suits all grind, there's a lawyer with a vision, one of a kind. He's the Aussie Overlaw'd. He'll fight for your rights, and he's got his own channel shining bright. From the courtroom to the web, he's got it all, sharing legal knowledge, answering the call. He breaks it down in a language we all understand. The Aussie Overlaw'd taking a stand. With his Aussie charm and his legal know-how, he's the hero we need, showing us how. He fights for justice, no case too tough. The Aussie Overlaw'd, he's more than enough. He's more than enough. In Melbourne town where the suits all grind, there's a
claims have any legal basis. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, you may remember videos during lockdown of people refusing to wear masks because it
doesn't apply to me.
Or drivers arguing with police officers like this.
Your nose to appear again today for disqualified driving. Okay?
Okay, but I don't drive. I haven't been driving.
That's all right. Who drove the car here?
I didn't drive here. I travelled here.
How did the car get here?
I moved it.
You moved it by controlling the controls of the car?
Yes, that's right.
Thank you, that'll do.
Yeah, I didn't drive it though.
As I said to my dad on the last day of school is, I think I need a lawyer. Found one. This is Marilyn. Hey, Marilyn. What is a sovereign citizen?
They're a very diverse group, loosely affiliated, not a tight-knit group at all. They have one common thread, and that is they're opposed to government. They regard government as illegitimate and having no authority over them.
So they're like, you can't tell me what to do, you're not my real government. The stepdad defense.
Yes, exactly. Sovereign citizens believe that laws only apply to them if they consent to them.
So that's why they say stuff like,
I do not consent.
It's not true that a law doesn't apply to you if you don't consent to it. Australian courts have made this point many times.
But maybe they successfully challenge their cases once they get to court?
No.
Who are you?
This is my office and you're trespassing.
I do not consent.
Well, I was a magistrate for 22 years, and not only haven't they succeeded in my court, but nowhere in Australia have the sovereign citizen arguments succeeded. And I'll have the wig too, please. They all get thrown out.
But sovereign citizen websites have a whole page of testimonials where people from all states have successfully fought using their information and won. See, it's on their website.
All of those testimonials are either false or the reported decisions simply don't exist, and I've looked for them.
Are you trying to say to me that the sovereign citizen websites are bullshit?
That's exactly
Particularly when you can't bloody well find them.
the right legal term.
So there's no chance that maybe you would have missed a case?
Not a chance. Not in the magistrates' court, not in the district court, in the Supreme Court, in the family court, in the AAT.
Got it.
Nowhere in any court have any of these arguments ever succeeded.
So where does the idea that people can just opt out of laws come from?
It comes from a very idiosyncratic belief that you can separate the legal or corporate aspects of a person and their natural or living person.
Sovereign citizens believe there is the living person, aka flesh and blood human being, aka you that came out of your mum, and the legal person, which is just an administrative concept only created when a government issues someone with documentation of the state, like, say, a birth certificate.
Sovereign citizens believe that they can reject their legal personality and therefore laws don't apply to them, and their natural living personality is unfettered by any of the restrictions that typically apply to all of us.
Okay, and that's why they say this sort of thing.
And I'm not property of the state, so you can't take me.
It is my right as a living woman to do whatever I want.
So can I, as a living person, do whatever I want?
Of course not.
No.
Boring. Okay, so where do they get these ideas from?
The idea that you can separate, your personalities is idiosyncratic to sovereign citizens. If you go back in English legal history, we can look at slavery and can see, well, there we had a separation of legal personality and slaves being treated as property.
I mean, that sounds like a legal basis to me.
Well, it might have been 200 years ago, but it certainly hasn't been since.
So I appreciate that you have a diploma in the rules or whatever.
A master's in law.
But did you know that the country, known formally as the Commonwealth of Australia, is registered in the US Securities and Exchange Commission as a corporation? It says it right here on the website.
That's so that they can trade in exchange and shares and the like in America. That doesn't actually have any implications in terms of Australian law whatsoever.
And I think you'll find if your name is in all capital letters, like on, for example, your driver's license, that refers to you as a legal person, which is why I have made an individual recognition card, which features my name in lowercase and hyphenated.
Yeah, I've heard that argument so many times, and it's never held up in any court, anywhere.
And if I attach one of these to my car, it refers to me, the living Lou, as a person who is travelling in private property, not driving, which means the police can't stop me or find me for any reason.
The difference between driving and travelling is unknown in any Australian law. There were some really old common law rules relating to that in England back in the 15th and 16th century, but they haven't been in existence since then.
What sovereign citizens offer is a fantastical, mythical version of the law that has no contact with reality. And I'm concerned that it exploits vulnerable people who see something on the internet, pay money for a script about how they should deal with police officers.
I love the disclaimer. The ABC is not suggesting the individuals depicted in this segment operate websites that sell exploitative materials online. Given that the only materials that I could locate were either behind a paywall or in hard copy for sale, I'd suggest that maybe there is just a slight justification for that consideration. But anyway, a diploma in the rules. I need that on a shirt or a mug. Yeah, but then I've got the don't confuse your Google search with my law degree shirt as well. So it sort of evens out.
Or why they don't have to pay income taxes, and ultimately that's to their great disadvantage.
Hang on a second, is that exploiting or educating?
Have you been doing your
AP
own
has
research?
donated one gifted and says gifted one law, news and laughter with Aussie Overlaw'd memberships.
Thank you very much for that, AP. And I do believe that someone joined earlier on tonight as well, at least tonight my time anyway. So I'm going to drop that down twice. Congratulations to Ian McKenna getting your membership. Good morning or evening, depending on where you're at. Yes, well, let me finish up this video and then we'll get into the regular intro, shall we?
Fine. I was just travelling anyway. I'm going to take this. Not going to lie, I was disheartened. Breaking free of the oppressive shackles of the Australian state sounded sweet. Back in the 70s, there was this guy called Prince Leonard who tried to establish his own micronation in Hutt River, Western Australia. He issued his own passports and made his own money, and if he can do it, then...
He also got fined $3 million by the government for unpaid taxes. His micronation was never recognised by anyone, and even his own son told us it is simply not possible to wake one day and decide that you do not agree with the law.
To be fair, that's a crock of shit. From the 70s right through until I think it was last year or the year before when he died, the state never actually came after him, and it's only really been since his son knuckled under and... Was it? He didn't secede. He delegated the authority of the Hutt River province back to the government of Australia, which I thought was hilarious. It was a nice little way around it. Why do sovereign states believe this garbage and refuse to accept anything else? That's a damn good question. I'm going to get stuck into that. So, welcome to Be Advised for this Saturday edition. I did mean to do this yesterday, but as I put out on various social media platforms, I came home from work yesterday, sat on the couch, had a burger, fell asleep, and then woke up 14 hours later. So, we're just going to get through this now. I thought I'd start with that nice little refresher course from the ABC, because it's sort of like just in time for the gym. Yeah. It's sort of to try and bring about what ABC lying in an article, trying to tell the truth. Yeah. As greatest producer ever, I have an idea. Feel free to fling whatever ideas you want, Stinge. Because I've spent a few hours over the last week, and including a couple extra hours today, trying to sort through and sift, see what information I could get from the actual SovCit side of things. Because pretty much everything that I've been able to find has been university articles, FBI articles, Commonwealth of Australia articles, Police One articles, and videos about how to deal with sovereign citizens when you encounter them or you have to engage with them. The only thing that of any substance that I've really been able to find from how to become a sovereign citizen is Fourth Flag, the Sovereign Citizen Handbook. Available on Amazon for between $25 and $45, depending on where you're at.
Stingy has donated $2 and says you owe us all $200 bucks each for your nap.
Fuck you, Stingy. But thank you for Super Chat. Gonna need the dopamine hit from laughing at Sovsits' pre-workout. Well, I mean, look, a lot of this was supposed to be having a deep dive into what they actually believe. I wasn't planning on this episode being entirely about laughing at them. So in this instance, it's like, well, I'm not going to be left with much else. This is Flaming Dragon. Hello, how are you? In this instance, we're going to start with the Wikipedia page, because where else does a general person look for information? And we'll read through the FBI report. We'll read through a couple other things. There'll be a couple of videos interspersed, but yeah, there's a good chance that by the end of this, we're just going to wind up watching YouTube videos on sovereign citizen arrests, because there is very little on the subject. And I'm thinking it's probably done by Google. It's done by YouTube, because apparently there are thousands of videos out there, but they just appear to be buried. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I kind of feel like it's a little bit censorship-y, which I'm not a huge fan of, so. But, anyway. Where are we? So that's the video from Sovsit thing. In my first 5 to 8K Tough Mudder today, come home covered in bruises and abrasions, as well as a nasty rope burn from an obstacle. Draren, I hope the nasty rope burn is not where I think it is, but congratulations on making it through Tough Mudder. Did that actually come up or not? I'm assuming it did. But anyway. Awesome. Okay. What do I want to start with? Oh, let's start with the New York Post article, shall we? Inside the law-denying sovereign citizen movement that led to led to Mormon's death? Is that supposed to be to a Mormon's death? When a cop in Salt Lake City, the Salt Lake City suburb of Farmington, Utah, pulled over a late model BMW 3 Series with an odd-looking license plate on the afternoon of March 1, he was confronted with an even odder-acting motorist. Chase Lind Allen, a 25-year-old graduate of Utah State University, initially declined to roll down his window more than a few inches. He declined to identify himself and declared, "I'm not giving you jurisdiction, do not detain me, you're not allowed to stop me, I don't need registration, I don't answer questions, traveling is a federally protected activity." After refusing several times to give his name, the driver finally relented and handed over a passport, but with a curious warning: "If you want my identification, it will be under duress, and you accept security and trusteeship over it, and you will be responsible for any debts that you are trying to incur here." "I'm not trying to incur any debts," the officer replied. "I'm trying to investigate why your vehicle doesn't have any registration." Can we deport Sovsits into space? I wouldn't think so. The American-born and bred Allen, a blonde jock... Oh my god, is that him there? Oh, jeez. A blonde jock who played soccer in high school and college, was a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, said he was an independent of any and all US laws. As a follower of the sovereign citizen movement, said to be 300,000 strong and growing, and yet I couldn't find jack all. Planned monologue and all. That's why I wanted to get a copy of the book. That's why I wanted to be able to... They have scripts. They have a checklist. They have a thing... apparently they have a page in the back where you just rip it out and you can hand it to people. Like, I wanted to see this shit for myself. You think any of it's online? No. Allen, like other adherents, believe the US government has no authority over them. According to the FBI, sovereign citizens are anti-government extremists who claim that though they reside physically in the country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States and don't have to answer answer to tax entities, courts, motor vehicle departments, or law enforcement traffic stops. Yeah, it surprised me too out and about with Diane, because I fully expected that they'd be plastering this information far and wide. Honestly. I thought this would be, okay, we want to get this information out there so we don't have to deal with the cops. They all know exactly what we're on about. We are in the right. But no, surprisingly, everything that I could find was behind a paywall. That's not to say that I wasn't looking in the right places. It could be that, I don't know, you have to use a Tor browser to find specific sites, or you have to do whatever else. I wasn't going to put that much effort in. I'll be perfectly honest. Mormon sovereign citizen, don't think I've heard of that one before. Well, that's where the Mormons get it wrong. Traveling is protected on public land, but driving is not. Traveling by your own 2 feet on public land, driving is a privilege in every state. Where are we? Instead of the usual Utah license plate with the words "In God We Trust" and "United We Stand," Allen's featured 3 small and 4 large vertical red stripes and what resembled a golden winged flag. Clearly frustrated, the officer called for backup. 2 more cops, a supervisor and a trainee, arrived on the scene at the downtown Farmington post office parking lot. Still, Allen refused to cooperate. The back and forth continued before one of the cops demanded, "Step out of the car for me." Oh, that would have went down a treat. "No," he responded. "Step out of the car or we're going to break the window and pull you out." Once again, Allen, whose family later said he had been studying constitutional law, refused. As the officers opened the door to grab and oust Allen, another cop shouted the words that law enforcement officers fear. "Gun, gun, gun." Oh, shit. Instantly, the cops fired off an estimated dozen rounds. Allen was treated at the scene and pronounced dead in a nearby hospital. A holster was found strapped to his right hip. A handgun was on the car floor. The driver's side window was riddled with bullet holes, and all of it's recorded on police body cam. Framingham Police Chief H. Eric Johnson, a 22-year veteran of the Framingham Force, told the Post that the officer-involved critical incident is now under investigation by the Davis County Critical Incident Protocol Team, and that the 5 officers involved have been placed on administrative leave pending outcome of the investigation. Meanwhile, Allen's family has accused the police of committing a brutal murder. A jury that's going to convict them. If they can get around the qualified immunity on that anyway. Allen's fatally tragic confrontation with the police is one of the latest high-profile anti-government action involving a so-called sovereign citizen. While the FBI points out that not all of the actions of sovereign citizens are violent and that they should not be confused with extremists such as the militia movement, they do sometimes use and buy illegal weapons. Kind of irrelevant. Confrontations and violence and other forms of severe law breaking have been a way of life for some adherents going back to the radical 1970s. Among sovereign citizenry's violent and infamous are father and son Jerry and Joe Kane, who during a routine traffic stop in 2010 in West Memphis, Arkansas, leaped out of their minivan and opened fire, killing 2 officers with an AK-47. Is it really murder if the dead guy isn't part of the country? That's a very good question, AP. I mean, arguably, if he's not a member of the nation and they declare themselves as separate, I mean, technically it'd be an act of war or international issues. The Canes were soon spotted at a nearby Walmart parking lot and killed in a gunfight with law enforcement. Terry Lynn Nichols was convicted as an accomplice to Terry McVeigh in the April 1995 bombing of the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City, one of the deadliest acts of domestic terrorism in which 168 people were killed. 3 years earlier, as self-styled sovereign citizen, Nichols attempted to renounce his U.S. citizenship by writing to the local county clerk in Michigan, stating that the political system was corrupt and declaring himself a non-resident alien. On February 8, 2010, computer engineer Andrew Joseph Stack III, AJ Stack III, that's... self-styled follower of the sovereign citizenry, flew his single-engine Piper plane into the 7-story Austin, Texas office building that housed the IRS services, killing himself and an IRS employee. Oh, I remember that one, though. Like, he only took out the one guy, though, didn't he? Because he knew exactly where he was aiming for. McVeigh should have been arrested long before the bombing had been before. Oh, no shit. He invaded the country, so the cops helped stop an all-out war. Good job, the coppers. Oh, damn. The sovereign movement has significantly expanded in the late 2000s, with law enforcement experts and the Southern Poverty Law Center estimating that there are some several 100,000 hardcore believers in the US. That's a bit of a misnomer. The figures that I saw were 300,000. I mean, saying several, I mean, technically 300 is several, I suppose. Just the way that 3 can be classed as several, but I digress. And it's interesting that the New York Post turned to the same law center that I did. Just goes to show how few resources there are on this. The pandemic and the related lockdowns and vaccine mandates reportedly played a role in the rise of the movement. According to the UK's Institute for Strategic Dialogue, a think tank focused on extremism, anti-government sentiments in relation to the imposed C-19 measures, has triggered a surge in the popularity of sovereign citizen-related ideas. A 35-page report by the Anti-Defamation League, which surprisingly is the other expert opinion on things, every second or third web page that I was looking through was from the ADL, which I did not fully understand how or why. SPLC isn't a law center, it's a propaganda outlet. Okay, that would explain a little bit. The Lawless Ones, the resurgence of the sovereign citizen movement, published a decade ago, called the Sovereigns one of the most problematic domestic extremist movements in the United States. Holy shit. The ADL noted that spontaneous sovereign citizen violence, especially during traffic stops, poses a significant risk to law enforcement officers. According to Fox News, adherents to the movement believe that the US government creates a secret identity for... What? A secret identity for each citizen at birth that controls a clandestine US Treasury account totaling of up to $20 million, which is used as collateral for foreign debt. And by filing enough bogus legal documents, including fake liens and false foreclosure notices, sovereign citizens believe that they can game the system, ultimately eliminating personal debt or defrauding corporations. While the movement is largely white, there are reportedly a growing number of African-American offshoots called the Moorish Sovereign Citizen Movement, according to the ADL. That I thought was interesting as well. And you keep that shit up, and I'm just going to ban you. I don't have the... after how you were acting the other night, I don't have the patience to put up with you. Have you heard of Romley Stewart, Justonian, Deception Channel Law, Santos Benucci, and Melvin Solves Sit, bring religious aspects to law, use Black's Law Dictionary and an English Styles Manual? I saw that there's a completely separate, religious sect to this. It's a, There's a page called Reclaim Australia, which is, they just go through a whole bunch of, religious stuff as well, and it was just... I didn't know if I wanted to bring the religious aspect into this, because I really just wanted to see what they say, what their arguments are based on, all that sort of stuff. And when you start using the Ten Commandments and, I feel like that's a separate aspect to the individuals that are relying on, say, the Constitution or arguments that the country's a corporation and shit like that. And it's like, I feel like I'd have to turn that into more than one series. So, but anyway, Moorish members reportedly contend that African Americans are foreigners who are urged to violate US laws and commit crimes such as criminal trespass, underscored in 2021 when a Newark, New Jersey home newly purchased by a black woman was taken over by a Moorish sovereign who placed a Moorish flag in the front window. You were open-minded to it for a few months until you found lordship. Huh. A lot of the time it's religious-based, but many, if not all, of the rights in the US are based in religion. Fair enough. I mean, look, I was more looking at from the pseudo-legal aspect of things. That's the guy that claimed the woman's home. That's a bit funny. He served the woman documents on fake consular paper from the fictional... what the... Oh, I think this is the same stuff that chick from the other night was spouting. Lene Poking of the Al Moroccan Empire at New Jersey State Republic, and claimed that an obscure treaty from the 1700s gave him the right to take her house as his. When a SWAT team showed up, he identified as a sovereign citizen and was arrested on charges of criminal mischief, burglary, criminal trespass, and making terrorist threats. It's unclear what the current status of any legal proceedings is. Similar cases have been reported in Seattle and Maryland. When cops stopped Chase Lind Allen earlier this month, his alliance with the controversial sovereign citizen movement may have already been known within the Framingham Police Department. His death happened 1 year after his mother, a local real estate saleswoman, took the Framingham Police to court after being stopped in April 22 for driving with an expired auto registration like her son. In September 22, she sued the department, asserting that as a sovereign citizen, she was stopped unjustly. After handing over a passport and a copy of the US Constitution, was given 2 tickets for $100. In her lawsuit, Killian Allen argued that neither the United States nor any other jurisdiction had any rule over her, and that she had the right to travel in Farmington without police interference. Her son was named in the lawsuit because he had accompanied her to the police department when she returned the tickets, according to reports. In the wake of the death of Chase, who lived at home with his parents, Killian Allen has claimed a patriot doing what he could to defend the people's right and liberty in his community. You call Elon African American? That's funny. I mean, not necessarily untrue, really, but still funny. All right, so I think that from what I can gather, this is the main, like, this is the main rule book, I think. Title 4 flag, the Sovereign Citizen Handbook. Are you sick and tired of the government interfering in your life? Have you had enough of being railroaded by the system? Have you ever wondered if there is really a way to protect your freedom and privacy from predatory public servants? Well, there is! Title 4, flag says you're a schwag. The Sovereign Citizen's Handbook is the ultimate legal self-defense strategy guide. I want to read this, but at the same time, I don't want to give them a cent. If I'd been able to get this electronically, I may even have considered it. They're pretty much making it up as I go. Pretty much. If you're looking for a peaceful solution to the government problem, your quest is complete. If you want to know how to prove your case in court without going to law school, this book will show you how. If you're serious and really want to know how to cut the government out of your life forever, this book is your essential sovereignty checklist. So fire your public pretender and get the latest and greatest version of Title 4 Flag Says You're a Schwag. All for the low, low price of $32 Australian or like $25 American. So, but there was also this one, the Sovereign Citizen Cutout Guide 2.0, Cut the Government Out of Your Life Forever, Sovereign Citizen Cutout Kit from 2013. Again, not something that I was willing to, and like, it's a whole 42 pages. You can count on one hand the number of soft sit cases that have prevailed in the courts. 0. Yep. Oh, don't worry, Flaming Dragon. Damn it. Flaming Dwagon. That's going to take me a little to get used to. We're going to talk about Brooks. Because he, believe it or not, made it into the Wikipedia article. So, where are we? I wasn't going to read through the entire article on this. Sovereign Citizens, a narrative review with implications of violence toward law enforcement. No, that's not the one that I want. Where is the... I am lost. Where's the Wikipedia page? Oh, there we go. All right, so we're going to start with the Wikipedia page. I know this is going to be a little bit reading heavy, but I'll try and break it up a little bit. The Sovereign Citizen Movement is a loose group of anti-government activists, litigants, tax protesters, financial scammers, and conspiracy theorists. I'm not okay with them including conspiracy theory in there, given that we know that that was effectively made up to label people. It wasn't a soft sit argument that won it, it was government incompetence, but still he won. Oh, shit. That sucks. Anyway, conspiracy theorists based mainly in the United States. Sovereign citizens have their own pseudo-legal belief system based on misinterpretations of common law and the claim not to be subject to government statute unless they consent to them. The movement appeared in the United States in the early 1970s and has since expanded to other countries. Thank you very much for that. The similar free man on the land movement emerged during the 2000s in Canada before spreading to other Commonwealth countries such as Australia, New Zealand, and the United Kingdom. The FBI describes sovereign citizens as anti-government extremists who believe that even though they physically reside in the country, they are separate or sovereign from the United States. The sovereign citizen phenomena is one of the main contemporary sources of pseudo-law. Sovereign citizens believe that courts have no jurisdiction over people, and that the use of certain procedures, such as writing specific phrases on bills that they do not want to pay, and loopholes, can make one immune to government laws and regulation. They also regard most forms of taxation as illegitimate. To be fair, so do I. And reject social security numbers, driver's licenses, and vehicle registration. The movement may appeal to people facing financial or legal difficulties or wishing to resist perceived government oppression. As a result, it has grown significantly during times of economic and social crisis, much like what we all went through a few years ago, let's face it. What? No, I wasn't banning you because of the difficult question. I don't want any Lebanon, Israel shit in my chat. Sovereign citizens believe that they have no jurisdiction. As a result, it has grown significantly. American sovereign citizens claim that the United States federal government is illegitimate. Sovereign citizens outside of the US hold similar beliefs about the government of their countries. The movement can be traced back to American far-right groups such as the Comitatus and the constitutionalist wing of the militia movement. When the sovereign citizen movement was originally associated with white supremacy and anti-Semitism, it now attracts people from various ethnicities, including a significant number of African Americans. The latter sometimes belong to self-declared Moorish sects. Majority of sovereign citizens are not violent. However, the methods advocated by the movement are certainly illegal. Sovereign citizens notably adhere to the fraudulent schemes promoted by the Redemption A4V movement. Many sovereign citizens have been found guilty of offences such as tax evasion, hostile possession, forgery, threatening public officials, bank fraud, and traffic violations. One of the most important crackdowns by US authorities on sovereign citizen organizations have been the 1996 case of Montana Freeman and the 2018 sentencing of self-proclaimed Judge Bruce Doucette and his associates. Moorish means Mormon? No, they don't. It's, we'll talk about the Moorish in a second. In the midnight hour, she cries more. Cries more. Because some have engaged in armed confrontation with law enforcement, the FBI classifies sovereign citizen extremists as domestic terrorists. Terry Nichols, one of the perpetrators of the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, subscribed to a variation of sovereign citizen ideology. In surveys conducted in 2014 and 2015, representatives of US law enforcement ranked the risk of terrorism from sovereign citizen movements higher than the risk from other groups, including Islamic extremists, militias, racist skinheads, neo-Yazis, and radical environmentalists. Wow. I mean, sure, I get ranking them ahead of, extremists and militias, but they seriously think that sovereign citizens are more of a danger than political activists? That's funny. Sovereign citizen movement originated in a combination of tax protester ideas of the radical and racist anti-government movements in the 1960s and 70s, and of pseudo-law which has existed in the United States since the 1950s. Their belief in the legitimacy of federal income tax gradually expanded to challenging the legitimacy of the government. The concept of a sovereign citizen whose rights have been unfairly denied appeared in 1971 within the Posse Comitatus. That's going to get me every single time. As a teaching of Christian identity minister William Potter Gale. The group was a far-right anti-government movement that denounced income tax, debt-based currency, and debt collection as tools of Jewish control over the United States. The roots of the sovereign citizen movement were thus strongly associated with white supremacist and anti-Semitic ideologies. While Gale's racist beliefs were far from unique, he innovated by devising a legal philosophy about the illegitimacy of the government that appealed to disaffected people. That was... okay. I don't think stupid, but you can medicate it. After originating in that particular group, the sovereign citizen concept went on to influence the broader tax protester and Christian patriot movements. Up until the 1990s, the posse was mainly catalogued by observers as a tax protester movement, rather than an outright far-right extremist group. However, while the posse, Christian identity, and militia movements did not entirely merge with one another, there's been significant overlap. That's why the ADL gives so much information. Really hope it's not. In the early 1980s, Gordon Carl, a former posse member, helped radicalize sovereign citizen anti-government rhetoric. Carl considered that the government was not only illegitimate, but actively hostile to the interests of Americans. After he was killed in 1983 during a shootout with law enforcement, he was considered a martyr within the movement, which helped disseminate his views. The movement garnered more support during the American farm crisis in the late 70s and 80s, which coincided with general financial crisis in the US and Canada. The farm crisis saw the rise of anti-government protesters selling fraudulent debt relief programs, some of which were associated with far-right groups. Those activists included Roger Elvick, a member of a successor organization of the posse. Elvick conceived the redemption methods, a set of fraudulent debt and tax payment schemes that became part of the sovereign citizen ideology. Huh. I did get a haircut, Nuclear. That's not why I'm covering it with the hat, though. How does SovCit have anything to do with the military not being allowed to operate? I haven't been paying attention to chat. Did I miss something? Must have. Anyway. Oh, it conceived the redemption. As the posse moved forward, its members created pseudo-legal bodies which claimed to speak with the authority of natural law or common law and supersede the government's legal system. The most common tactic of these common law courts was to issue false liens against the properties of their enemies. After the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, of which one perpetrator adhered to the SovCit ideology, observers categorized the posse as a far-right extremist rather than a tax protester movement. Around the end of the decade, the term posse comitatus was supplanted by the term sovereign citizen. This mirrored a change in the language used by adherents, which reflected their increased focus on personal liberty, secured through absolute ownership of personal property. In 1996, the case of Montana Freemen attracted public attention to the sovereign citizen movement. The Montana Freemen were Christian patriot sovereign citizens and direct ideological descendants of the posse comitatus. Hey, look, I got it right that time. They used the false liens to harass public officials and committed bank fraud through the use of counterfeit checks and money orders. The group surrendered in June 96 after 81 days of an armed standoff with the FBI. Several members of the Montana Freemen received lengthy prison sentences. The group's leader died in prison in 2011. Over time, the movement expanded beyond its original white nationalist environment to people of all backgrounds. As of the 1990s, sovereign citizen arguments have been adopted by minority groups, notably the African-American Moorish sovereign citizens. Moorish sovereigns' beliefs derive in part from the Moorish Science Temple of America, which has condemned this sovereign citizen offshoot. Since the 1990s, the number of African-American sovereign citizens has increased substantially. Okay. Can I just stop here for 2 seconds and acknowledge the contradiction in that? That all of this allegedly started as a massive thing from white supremacist racists on the far right, and then you get an offshoot that's all African American. Like, did I go vote yet? No, not yet. Nuclear. My local votes don't close for another 2 weeks, but I'm just gonna show up and do it anyway, so. Want to get that book I sent help, if not, use how you want. It may be the dog snacks. Wait, what? What? Oh, you didn't. Hang on. King Bob, thank you so much for that. Very much appreciate it for the PayPal. Probably be dog smacks because honestly, I don't want to give them the pleasure of it. So, unless you're a Democrat, then you vote by mail, person, and dead parents. Check fraud like the idiots that thought they were going to get one over Chase by cashing giant checks because of a glitch. Lol, idiots. Yes, and that turned around and bit people in the ass very damn quickly, frankly. Okay, what did I get to? Since the 1990s, the number of African American sovereign citizens has increased substantially. You notice that it seems to be when certain demographics or individuals are feeling disenfranchised that they turn to the rhetoric that no one has any. Just think of the fun you could have if you got the book. Yeah, but at the same time. Hours of streaming. Oh hell! I'll think about it. If I can find a digital copy, great. I don't want to give these people my address. Moorish Science Temple is prominent in New York. Is it really? Huh. Various black sovereign citizen groups have appeared, some Islamic, others adhering to New Age philosophies. Sovereign citizen ideas have also been adopted by some groups within the Hawaiian sovereignty movement and other various fringe political or religious groups such as the Black Separatists or the Fundamental Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. American pseudo-law became well established by 2000. Notably, the strawman theory was conceived around the time by Roger Elvick. Huh. It's become a core sovereign citizen concept as it gave overarching explanation to the movement's pseudo-beliefs. I don't think we really care about the spread. Theories, okay. The movement has no defining text, established doctrine, or centralized leadership. There are, however, common themes, generally implying that...
The Orc has donated £10 and says for the book LOL.
Cheers, dude. Appreciate it. Fine. I'll try and find a digital copy. If I can't find a digital copy, it'll go to dog treats or towards the fun run for Scarlet, okay? Because I don't want these bastards actually getting money from me. Or from you guys, honestly. Okay. Generally implying that legitimate government and legal system has been somehow replaced and the current authorities are devoid of legitimacy. Taxes and licenses are likewise thought to be illegitimate. A number of leaders, commonly referred to as gurus, develop their own variations. Movement's theories include numerous influences from a variety of sources, some of which are decades old, resulting in a narrative of American history that is often confusing and incoherent. No shit. Grounds. Sovereign citizens' legal theories reinterpret the Constitution of the United States through selective reading of law dictionaries. Was the new book endorsed by Gosney? Hey, go fuck off. Notably, an obsolete version of Black's Law Dictionary, state court opinions or specific capitalization, and incorporate other details from a variety of sources, including the Uniform Commercial Code, Articles of Confederation, the Magna Carta, the Bible, and foreign treaties. They ignore the second clause of Article 6 of the Constitution, the Supremacy Clause, which establishes the Constitution as the law of the land and the United States Supreme Court as the ultimate authority to interpret it. Most consider that the county sheriff...
AP has donated $5 and says you can write it off on your taxes, which would be hilarious irony. Writing off an anti-taxation book on your taxes.
I actually really like that. Thank you, AP. That sounds awesome. Oh, the trouble is, I'm worried that if I buy it, I'll get put on a list too. Most consider the county sheriff is the most powerful law enforcement officer in the country. With
Black Horse Cavalry has donated $30 and says for the book and education, if you please.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough. Okay. With authority superior to that of any federal agent, elected official, or local law enforcement official. The widespread belief amongst sovereign citizens is that the state is not the actual government, but a corporation. American movement members consider that the corporation that purports to be the US federal government is illegally controlling the republic via a territorial government in Washington, D.C. Sovereign citizens believe that when the government was set up by the founding fathers under a common law legal system, it was secretly replaced, commercial law substituted for common law. I can hear my eyes blinking at the insanity of that. Because here's the thing, okay? Wash my eyes. No, it's not about that. It's more about the insanity of it. Order the book as a gift for someone else, then get them to send it on. No address required. That'd actually be really funny. Oh, I could send it to Jeff's PO box and then have him forward it to me. What was I going to say? I will need to do some deep dive into the actual Constitution of the US, because common law to me means something very different to what they are suggesting here. Common law here and under the UK system is judge-made law. It's literally... I'm wondering what it... Body law created by judges similar quasi-judicial tribunals. Okay, yeah, so it is the same. It's the same form of common law, which would make more sense. Substituting it with commercial law. The commercial law is generally understood to be admiralty law, as sovereign citizens consider that the current illegitimate law is based on the principles of international commerce. I'm gonna have to take a second to try and fully absorb that sentence. Commercial law is generally understood to be admiralty law, as sovereign citizens consider that the current illegitimate law is based on the principles of international commerce. What? No, I get that they don't understand what common law is, but at the same time... Huh? I knew I was going to need alcohol for this, but at this point I'm going to have to crack open the emergency White Claw or something. Like... sovereign citizens also claim that the appearance of the golden fringes on American flags that are displayed in courtrooms is evidence of admiralty law being in effect. This leads sovereign citizens to believe that US judges and lawyers are actually agents of a foreign power, typically thought to be the United Kingdom. One pseudo-legal conspiracy theory claims that BAR is an acronym for British Accreditation Registry. Okay. Sovereign citizens will therefore challenge the validity of the contemporary legal system and claim to answer only to God's law or to common law, meaning by the system that is supposedly the system which supposedly existed before the conspiracy. Door can neither confirm nor deny. So it's very clear that they do not understand how many colors are in the color of law. Just one color, nuclear. The color of justice. Actually, to be fair, depending on which country you're in, it's either 2 or 3. For us, it's green and gold. For you guys, it's red, white, and blue. I'll answer whatever law suits me at the time. Yeah, it's pretty much what they're at. I mean, justice is blind, so no colors. There's no consensus among sovereign citizens as to when the secret change of political and legal systems took place. Some believe it occurred during the Civil War, while others date it to 1933 when the United States abandoned the gold standard. According to one version, the vehicle for the change was the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871, which sovereign citizens believe created a United States corporation to govern the District of Columbia under commercial code. This form of corporate rule then extended to the entire country. Guessing if they're arguing the Constitution not being a thing to them, if they just believe in common law or the Magna Carta. A lot of it goes back to the Magna Carta. That's one thing that we're going to have a look at in a minute.
King Bob has donated $2 and says you're probably already on a list.
You know, that's actually a good point. I'm on at least 2 that I'm aware of. Another theory is that the country was secretly reorganized as a post office in 1978. What? Reorganized as a post office? What the fuck does that mean? Pseudo-legal schemes attribute a particular power to the Universal Postal Union and to the use of postage stamps on legal documents. The beliefs that the current government is a corporation and that people are secretly under a form of commercial law lead sovereign citizens to consider that statutory law is a contract binding on people to the state. Okay. Surprisingly, this is actually starting to make sense in my head. Why they would be leaping to these why they'd be leaping to these conclusions. Jesus, Hayden, get the word out of your mouth. According to the theory, people are tricked into this contract through various means, including social security numbers, phishing licenses, or zip codes. No, don't stress. I'm not being corrupted, Nuclear. I'm saying that they're wrong, but in their own twisted way, I can understand how they're making that leap. They're still fucking wrong. Thus avoiding the means of immunity from government authority. Another common belief among sovereign citizens is that they can opt out of the purported contract, hence making themselves immune from the laws that they do not wish to abide by declining consent. When confronted by police officers and other officials, sovereign citizens will typically attempt to negate their authority by saying, "I do not consent." It's making sense, and you haven't been drinking? No. So what they're basically arguing is that the government itself is not the state. They're arguing that the government is an illegitimate corporation, and that as such, the only way that they can try and get involved with people is by a contract. I mean, it's the same as a security guard. Say you go to Disneyland. Conditions of entry are that you agree to abide by all of their terms and conditions, and the security guards can put you in jail, for example, and whatever else. They're basically saying that that's how the United States has been set up, is that the actual government's been replaced by a corporation that's written all these rules that you effectively are agreeing to abide by, and that they're trying to use corporate law to get out of it. It's bullshit. But I can understand how someone that is ill-informed and uneducated would, or for lack of a better term, desperate, would try and run it that way. And it's going deep in the wombat hole. Fishing license is equivalent to a social security number. One expires, the other is for life and never changes. Yeah. Many sovereign citizens believe that the Uniform Commercial Code, which provides an interstate standard for documents that they believe apply only to their straw man, in a codification of the illegitimate commercial law ruling the United States. Therefore, they consider that exploiting supposed loopholes in the UCC will help them assert their rights or invoke their special privileges and powers as common law citizens. Adherents to the American state national concept believe that through a specific procedure they can renounce federal citizenship and can make themselves immune from jurisdiction and avoid the IRS, and also rescind voting registration, marriage, and birth certificate. In March 2023, Chase Allen, who we talked about, who was subscribed to the notion and used a false passport and a legal license plate, was shot dead by police in a traffic stop during a confrontation with officers over refusal to show an identification document. The belief that the current legal system is illegitimate, it has impelled some sovereign citizens to consider themselves above the law and to commit actual crimes. The English think that the US state is not legitimate, but they don't want them back, or the Aussies. Well, I mean, look. I've said it once, I'll say it again. Australia has to thank the United States for a certain Tea Party for us even existing. Okay, so American sovereign citizens posit that contemporary United States citizenship is somehow defective or fraudulent and that it curtails citizens' legitimate rights. Some sovereign citizens also claim that they can become immune to most or all laws of the United States by renouncing citizenship in a federal corporation and declaring only to be a citizen of the state where they reside. This process, which they refer to as expatriation, involves filing or delivering a non-legal document claiming the renunciation of citizenship to any county clerk's office that can be convinced to accept it. In the 1970s, one of the movement's originators, white supremacist ideologue William Potter Gale, identified the 14th Amendment of the Constitution as an act that converted sovereign citizens into federal citizens by their agreement to a contract to accept benefits from the federal government. Other commentators have identified other acts, including the Emergency Banking Act and the alleged suppression of the Titles of Nobility Amendment. Likewise, sovereign citizen leader Richard McDonald claimed that there have been two classes of citizens in America, the original citizens of the state, also called state citizens and organic citizens, and the US citizens. According to MacDonald, US citizens, whom he calls 14th Amendment citizens, have civil rights legislated to give rights to freed black slaves after the Civil War. This benefit is received. Good morning to you too, Phoenix. If you really want to slip into the crazy corner, look up quantum grammar. Sounds like disinformation, better fact check it. Well, sounds like Scientology style BS. It kind of really does. Reading Wikipedia is smart. It's literally the only it's literally the only resource that I could find that was in any way, shape, or form even remotely pro this. All of the other articles that I could pull through Google or through research, even using my legal back-end channels to pull case law and shit like that, it was all just how to deal with people and ignore them. Like, this is literally all I got. And hey, there's 113 of you watching, so hit that like button, people. Completely ignore the 10th Amendment giving the states power to make their own constitutions and laws. Well. On the other hand, white state citizens have unalienable constitutional rights. In this perspective, state citizens must consequently take steps to revoke and rescind their US citizenship and reassert their de jure common law status as state citizens. This involves removing oneself from federal jurisdiction and relinquishing any evidence of consent to US citizenship, such as a social security number, driver's license, car registration, the use of zip codes, marriage license, voter registration, and birth certificate. And also is the refusal to pay state and federal income taxes because citizens not under the US jurisdiction are not required to pay them. The concept of 14th Amendment citizens is consistent with the movement's white supremacist origins in that it can cause the adherents to believe that African Americans, having only become legal citizens after the Civil War, have far fewer rights than whites, and that only black people have to pay federal taxes and abide by federal laws. Have you considered asking ChatGPT to give you in-depth information about soft sits? You know what? Remind me in about 10-15 minutes. We'll do that. You know what would be funnier? Let's see what Grok's got to say. On the contrary, Moorish sovereign citizens consider that African Americans constitute an elite class within American society with special rights and privileges that make them immune to federal and state authority. They'll commonly adopt Africanized versions of their names by adding L or Bay, or a combination of the two, and associate themselves with a particular Moorish group, claiming that they are not culpable of acts committed under their previous name or that their affiliation makes them immune from prosecution. The underpinnings of their theories of exemption vary. One belief is that the Moors were America's original inhabitants and are therefore entitled to be self-governing. They claim to be the descendants of the Moroccan Moors and to thus be subject to the 1786 Moroccan-American Treaty of Friendship. That's what that woman was going on about the other day when we were in the news, in the library. Underpinnings of theories. Treaty of Friendship, which they believe gives them an exemption from American law. Variation of Moorish ideology is found in the Washington Nation, which claims rights through the provisions of the Louisiana Purchase Treaty Agreement, giving privileges to Moors as early colonists and non-existent United Nations People's Seat 215. Various other groups claim special status and exemption from their country's laws by purporting to belong to real and imaginary ethnic minorities. Sovereign citizens may claim that their status in the United States is that of non-resident aliens. Only resident aliens of states, not its citizens, are income taxable, sovereign citizens argue, and as a state citizen landowner, one can bring forward the original land patent and file it with the county for absolute or allodial property rights. Such allodial ownership is held without recognizing any superior to whom any duty is due thereof. Huh. For those of you here in Australia, fuck. No, for those of you here in Australia, this is effectively them saying that they claim native title, but to the extent that they can kick people out of their homes and off their land. Superiors include those who levy property taxes or hold mortgages or liens against the property. One occurring idea in sovereign citizen ideology is that individuals have two personas, one of flesh and blood and the other of a separate, secret legal personality called the straw man, created upon each person's birth that is subject to the government. Sovereign citizens claim that it is possible to disassociate oneself from the straw man through the use of certain procedures, thus becoming free of all debts, liabilities, and legal constraints. Okay. So effectively, what the straw man thing is that in their minds they've created an additional legal persona, similar to how we set up companies in order to protect ourselves from liability, and a company is considered a separate legal entity. They're saying that they have their own straw man, which protects them in a similar vein. Their legal entity is the one that deals with any crimes, any fines, any laws that are. Why would you think that you were able to disassociate yourself from that anyway? I mean, for the most part, the corporate veil can be pierced in a good number of circumstances anyway. Why am I trying to apply logic to this? For the love of God, someone help me. Want to make a SovSit video game where you have to break into the National Archives to destroy your legal entity to avoid paying a traffic ticket. That could be funny. Using the arguments they rely on extracting definitions of word choices, sovereign citizens may assert a constitutional right to travel in a conveyance, distinguishing it from driving an automobile in order to justify ignoring requirements of license plates, vehicle registration, insurance, and driver's licenses. The right to travel is claimed on a base of a variety of passages, some being more commonly used amongst other groups. One common argument from sovereign citizens is that they are traveling and not driving, and hence do not need a driver's license because they are not transporting commercial goods or paying passengers. You decided to go down this rabbit hole. Fair enough. Your ex was getting involved in a group regarding the strawman stuff. Sounds like the formation of a cult. How long before they start asking them for a membership fee to join the SovSit club? They already do in certain circumstances. And frankly, I think buying the book is the first step. You have to pay them at least some sort of money so you can understand shit. Other pseudo-legal theories commonly shared by SovSits are that silence means consent for any sort of document, that any claim or alleged statement of fact placed in a sworn document, known in pseudo-legal jargon as an affidavit of truth, is proven truth unless rebutted, and that there is no crime if there is no injured party. Look, there's certain instances where I can is this just an American thing? Nope. Flaming Dwagon, we're going to get to that too. Not driving, I'm traveling. I'm not arresting you, I'm auditing your freedom. There are certain instances where I've felt that certain victimless crimes should not be considered crimes. I think that, for example, breach of copyright and things like that should not be investigated by the authorities. That should be up to the copyright holder. I do not believe that that is a I don't believe that should be criminal. I think that should always be a civil issue. My theory is that whoever made up the SovSit BS did it as a joke and is having a good laugh at the derps who claim it. What? You mean like a certain there are victimless crimes, DUI, for example? No, because I would not class that as a victimless crime, because it's a crime where there is still a potentiality for someone to be physically injured. If someone goes and downloads something off the internet because they want to watch a movie that's not available in their area, there is no reasonably foreseeable chance that someone is going to be physically injured by that. And whilst we can talk about liquid damages and that sort of thing, no, I still don't. I'm still not a fan of it. Right, potentially, but no victim. No, but it's reasonably foreseeable. That's the distinction. Is it reasonably foreseeable that someone would get drunk behind the wheel and kill somebody? Yes. Is it reasonably foreseeable that someone could die from downloading a video off the internet? Or be otherwise injured or something along those lines? I would argue, no, it's not within a reasonable foreseeability that someone would be physically injured for downloading a video. And obviously I'm talking like a movie or something. I'm not talking about a snuff film. So Some sovereign citizens are involved in other forms of conspiracy theories, including QAnon. Oh god, here we go. Certain subgroups within the movement adhere to theories about extraterrestrials and reptilians. Huh? No, Boosh, you're missing the point. Because there is still a reasonable possibility that there would be a victim. I'm suggesting that there are instances where something should not be a crime when there is no possibility of anyone being a victim ever. We're going to go backwards and forwards on this. You know what? This is probably a good one for us to hash out in Discord. Pretty sure QAnon was a psyop. A movie could be so bad someone can have a stroke. No, that's a porno. Daryl Brooks had plenty of victims. Yes, he did. How do we get to extraterrestrials and reptilians? One advocate for of sovereign citizen fraudulent tax avoidance schemes, Sean David Morton, is also active as a psychologist and a UFOologist. UFOologist? In Quebec, a sovereign citizen ideology is being promoted by Guyane Lansot, an anti-vaccine activist. No, I know that's not what the SovCit thing said. I was giving you my opinion. Had movies kill brain cells. Have watched the Y-Files? No. Should I have? There were some challenges on the internet that resulted in deaths. What, like TikTok challenges? Is that what you're talking about? In Quebec, the sovereign citizen ideology, anti-vaccine activist, and AIDS denialist. In 2022, the ADL reported the sovereign citizen ideology was increasingly sweeping into QAnon, as the movement's anti-government views were compatible with QAnon's belief in a worldwide cabal and the illegitimacy of the Biden administration. Sovereign citizen groups, notably led by Texas married couple of gurus David and Bonnie Straight, have been convincing parents whose children were removed from their custody that CPS are engaged in child trafficking and encouraging them to kidnap their children. Holy shit. Want a movie that'll kill brain cells? Watch Jim Carter. The TikTok challenges are just the Darwin Awards. Yes. Oh, that's the quantum grammar stuff that you were telling me about. All right, I'll open that in a new window so I can remember to look at that. Belief that child protection agencies are involved in crimes against children is also consistent with QAnon ideology. Several sovereign citizen gurus have made grandiose claims about the power supposedly granted to them by their pseudo-legal schemes. One American ideologue and quantum grammar advocate, Russell J. Gould, claims that having signed a posted receipt in a specific way and filed a document related to Title IV of the United States Code at a moment when the country is supposedly bankrupt makes him Postmaster General and legitimate ruler of the United States. What the Another American guru, Heather Ann Tucci Giraffe, claimed that having her sentenced for fraud to have foreclosed and cancelled all banks and governments using UCC filings. Likewise, Romana Didulo, a Canadian QAnon conspiracy theorist, used sovereign citizen concepts to back her claims of being the rightful Queen of Canada and eventually Queen of the world. These things really do just seem to sort of line up and help people that are a little or not there, huh? Sovereign citizens may be affiliated with groups within the movement following the teachings of a specific guru or acting entirely on their own. By disobeying rules they consider to be illegitimate, they regularly find themselves in conflict with other forms of government institutions, most commonly law enforcement, the judiciary, and the revenue services. One sovereign citizen from Montana became a local celebrity by engaging in 2013 a protracted legal battle with authorities over the need to have a fishing license and then having multiple incidents with law enforcement over the matter, as well as his lack of a driver's license. Often use flawed and invented legal arguments or irregular documents that may have been brought over from other members as proof of their claims. Common for sovereign citizen gurus to earn money by selling to followers the movement's standard documents such as template filings, scripts to recite at court appearances, or other quick fix solutions to legal problems. Some gurus sell how-to manuals explaining such theories and schemes. Tank Rat, how you doing, buddy? If a Sov-Sit disguises citizenship, how do they apply for a visa for the country that they are in? If they don't have one, then can they be deported? Well, see, what they're arguing is that they are not a citizen of the federal United States, just of the state in which they reside. Rongo's got some good videos about the Queen of Canada Nutter. Good, I'm glad. And no, so they wouldn't be able to be deported because they still consider the state that they are in to be their domicile. So one such manual is Title 4 Flag Says You're a Schwag, the Sovereign Citizen's Handbook. There it is, which has been reprinted and updated several times. Sovereign citizens will often use unusual vocabulary and twist the meaning of legal terms or even commonplace phrases according to their own convenience. This includes avoiding the use of expressions they think would make them enter into contract with the government. For example, when dealing with the police, they will often avoid saying, I understand, and instead will say, I comprehend. Don't knock them, you're making money off them. They might try and make a claim, though. How would that work? I would tell them to go suck a lemon. What's a dumbass aisle? That would be aisle 12 with the safety scissors. I can't do it. I can't make fun. What, you've never heard suck a lemon before? Oh, well, there you go. You learn something new every day, Acorn. Saying I comprehend instead of I understand is in synonyms, as they believe that word understand acknowledges that one stands under the jurisdiction, thus recognizing the police's authority. The safety says in the paste, yeah. Excuse me. So it's because they have issues with English that they do not use the word I understand, because I am under the jurisdiction. What the heck? Okay. They regard themselves bound only by their own interpretation of common law. Sovereign citizens have been setting up militias of self-appointed sheriffs, as well as common law courts to handle matters regarding movement members. These courts, which are devoid of legal authority, are frequently used to formalize the declarations of sovereignty of movement members in a process known as assevation. Forming malicious common law courts. Yeah, there you go, new cult. Sovereign citizens consistently violate traffic laws by refusing to use driver's licenses, valid license plates, and to register or insure their vehicles. Some use homemade license plates and bumper stickers, which can serve the unintended purpose of warning police officers that they're dealing with a sovereign citizen. Most interactions with Sov-Sits with the law enforcement take place on the road. As a result, the general public is mostly familiar with the moment through online videos of sovereign citizen confrontations with traffic officers. Yep. Aisle 12, you know you're there when you see the baldos on the left. So you're going to want aisle 12. Baldos, paste, safety scissors, and cocaine. Oh, fuck. Why did I've been trying to be so good. Anyway. Like saying they don't listen because its listing ends. I'm not really going to worry about the tax stuff. Sovereign citizens are known to create their own irregular pseudo-legal documents, including false passports, license plates, and birth certificates. Sovereign citizens' documents may include unusual formalities, such as the maxims written in Latin, thumbprints or stamps in certain places, as well as unconventional, sometimes incomprehensible legalese. Don't forget the SpaghettiOs. Oh, jeez. Aisle 12 is padded, no, for your comfort, of course. Of course. And if it's not padded, it's ribbed. Stamps are generally accompanied by signatures with the sovereign citizen's name signed across them, initials or other markings. Signatures and thumbprints are likely to be in red ink or blood, since black and blue inks are believed to indicate corporations, as bonds are cancelled using red ink in some United States. Sovereign citizens may sign in red ink to signify that they're cancelling the bond attached to their birth certificate or to their strawman. Others use red ink because it represents the blood of the flesh and blood person. Other methods to disassociate oneself from the strawman, including unusual spelling and writing of one's name in a different manner or punctuation, such as John the family of Doe instead of John Doe. Sovereign citizens will often add the Latin phrase sui juris, which means one's own right, to their names on their legal documents to signify their reserving or rights to which they are entitled as a free person. Postage stamps are supposed to make pseudo-legal documents authoritative, but their meaning varies depending on the guru. One version has had it that stamps grant sovereignty over pseudo-law affiliates. Their use on documents purportedly makes one a postmaster with equal rights and peer status to nation states. Fuck. When signing an official document such as a driver's license, a mortgage document, or a traffic ticket, sovereign citizens will often add under threat, duress, or coercion, or a variation thereof, such as the initials TDC, after or under their name, that implies that they're not voluntarily signing the document, which purportedly helps them avoid entering into a contract with the illegitimate government and falling under its jurisdiction. Some may write TDC after their zip codes. Give you a really top tip here. Just because something is signed under duress does not strictly mean that it is unenforceable or invalid. It's a handy way that you can usually get out of certain types of contracts. But common law rules apply to whether or not signing it under duress invalidates the contract anyway. So good luck arguing that one. Yes, Hayden's chair is vibrating again. Hayden is going to try and stop his chair from vibrating again. People and groups linked to the movement have been using constructed language created by American theorist David Wynn Miller, who asserted that his unorthodox version of the English language, variously called past syntax grammar, correct language, or truth language, or quantum grammar, guarantees success in legal proceedings where it constitutes the only correct form of communication. So now they're changing English. Just got the notification for the stream, only been here an hour and a half. That's all right, as long as you're here. Oi, Kathy, behave. Cases involving sovereign citizens can cause severe problems to law enforcement officers and officials. Sovereign citizens may challenge laws, rules, and sentences that they disagree with by engaging in the practice known as paper terrorism, which involves filing complaints with legal documents that may be bogus or simply misused. Minor issues such as traffic violations or disagreements over pet licensing fees may provoke numerous court filings. Courts will then find themselves burdened with having to process hundreds of pages of irregular pseudo-legal documents. Right. Sounds more like a religion than thumbing the nose at the government. Kind of does, yeah. Courts find themselves burdened with having to process hundreds of pages of irregular pseudo-legal documents, causing strain on their resources. You know what's terrifying about this? Think of all the crap that Sarah Boone filed in that case. Think about every document that she wrote to the court, all that sort of stuff. And then add pseudo-legal stuff to it. I can understand why you get judges like Judge Fleischer ready to laugh their asses off at sovsits. That and like when Judge Simpson, that time that he had sovsits in front of him, that would have been absolutely hilarious as well. Falsely ends on harassment tactics, legal status of theories. Okay. Sovsit tactics often succeed in delaying legal proceedings and may occasionally confuse or exhaust public officials. However, their arguments are never upheld in court. Their claims have been consistently rejected by courts in various countries, including the US, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. Mark Pitkavage, researcher working for the Anti-Defamation League's Center on Extremism, has summed up the sovereign citizen ideology as magical thinking. One state representative from New Hampshire, Richard Marple, repeatedly tried to introduce legislation that would recognize sovereign citizen ideas without success. Can't say I'm shocked. They're trying to say that I'm a sovereign citizen just because I want cops and government employees to be held to the same accountable under the same laws. No. They're saying that no one should be held it. Bet Darrell Brooks got super high and had his buddy talk soft sit and it stuck. I think it's probably just that Darrell Brooks saw it as a, I'll be honest, in Darrell Brooks' case, I think it was more a race thing, to be perfectly honest, because I genuinely believe that he went down more the Moorish path about how they're superior to everybody else in the United States and all that sort of stuff, which we'll have a look at in a bit. I don't think that he was a true sov-cit, shall we say. The sov-cits are basically just ill-educated and possibly mentally ill. I would think that that is the kindest way of putting it. It's either they're ill-educated, they're in a desperate situation, so they're willing to believe whatever will be of most benefit to them, or they're potentially mentally ill. It's a fairly broad way to look at it, but I think that's the easiest thing. They're either uneducated, they're simple, they're just not willing to believe what is true. IQ lower than passing grade. Welcome to the Soft-Sit clan. Soft-Sit, traffic code. Soft-Sit. How am I only halfway through this thing? Oh, hang on. Groups outside the United States. All right, that's where I'm going to stop on this page. All right, don't need to worry about the strawman stuff because now I understand that, so I'll move on from that. Argue that they don't need driver's licenses. License plates of vehicles have never been up and held in court. One common response to a claim from the US law enforcement is that while anyone is free to travel by foot, by bike, or even horse, operating a motor vehicle is a complex activity that requires training and licensure. Sovereign citizens falsely claim that the United States Supreme Court has upheld the right to travel as allowing operation of a motor vehicle without a driver's license. On the contrary, several rulings state that driver's licenses and traffic regulations are necessary for public safety. Of citizen common law courts and other legal entities lack any legitimacy. Some may be simply ignored by the authorities. For example, in 2015, sovereign citizen guru Anna Maria Reisinger, aka Anna von Reitz, the self-proclaimed judge of a common law court in Alaska, published a letter calling for federal agents to arrest President Obama, the entire Congress, and the Secretary of the Treasury, causing a minor internet rumor. Snopes debunked her claim by establishing that von Reitz was not a real judge and that her orders therefore had no force. Use mentally ill in quotes because I think most of them are just entitled weirdos who went through the DOE system and came out an arsehole. Possibly. Depending on the nature and severity of the action, sovereign citizen courts may be disbanded and their leaders prosecuted. Okay. The claim that the District of Columbia Organic Act of 1871 turned the United States into a business corporation is based on a misunderstanding of the term municipal corporation used in the act, which referred to the District of Columbia and not the entire country, and on a misinterpretation of the provision of Title 28 of the United States Code, which includes a definition of the United States as a federal corporation, meaning a group authorized to legally act as a single entity and not a business corporation. I've seen the same... Okay, so I've seen the same arguments and the same misunderstanding of legal terminology here in Australia as well. For example, people do not understand that there is a difference between the word tenant and tenant. People are looking at their land certificates of title at the moment, seeing that they are joint tenants or tenants in common, and thinking that that makes them renters from the land titles office. And it's not even tenant spelt like that, Boosh. There's a difference between Tenant and Tennant. One is a legal situation, and the other one is a relationship between a renter and a landlord, which is legit. I mean, obviously, it's a legal circumstance between parties. But the point is, a tenant itself, as in a joint tenancy or a tenants in common ownership of property, does not mean you are renting the land from somebody else. It does not in any way diminish your rights. You own the fucking land. Well, see, David Tennant lost me after the most recent Doctor Who stuff, so used to be one of my favorites, but okay. The theory that silence means consent and that unrebutted affidavit stands as truth are based on misinterpretations of the legal maximum. He who does not deny admits. The idea that there is no crime if there is no injured party is based on a misinterpretation of tort law and fails to recognize the existence of different levels of legal violation. Filing fraudulent notices of lien or documents is a crime in the United States. Other forms of paper terrorism may be similarly punished by law. Brett Andrew Nelson, a solved sit from Colorado, spent years filing claims for damages against judges and other public officials, as well as private citizens whom he felt had wronged him. His conflict with the judiciary started in 2017 over a child custody dispute. He later issued numerous false judgments, demanded thousands of dollars from officials who would fine him for issues such as traffic violations and dog bites, and similarly harassed the mother of his child and people from his neighborhood. In April 2024, he was sentenced to 12 years in prison. Is there going to be any more Australian Doctor Who's? There was an Australian Doctor Who? What? Use a time machine, go before 2024 when life was good. I think I would rather go back to, like... I could deal with 2020... No, you know what? Screw 2024. I want to go back to 2004. I could work with that. Provided I can keep all the knowledge I've got now, that'd be great. American courts have routinely dismissed documents written in David Wynne Miller's past syntax, grammar, quantum grammar language, calling them unintelligible. Canadian judge John D. Rook commented in his Meads v. Meads decision that Miller's bizarre form of legal grammar is not merely incomprehensible in Canada, but equally in any other jurisdiction. Universal Postal Union, which is often invoked as a supranational authority in sovereign citizen schemes, has officially denied that it has the authority to confer official recognition upon sovereign citizens, or to grant some kind of formal status to such individuals, also specifying that the use of postage stamps on legal documents does not create an opportunity or obligation for the Postal Union to become involved in those matters. That's funny. So... got groups in English-speaking countries. While the more Canada-specific Freemen on the Land movement has declined since the early 2010s, the Canadian sovereign citizen movement has gained traction during the same period. Canada has an estimated 30,000 sovereign citizens in 2015, many associating with the Freemen on the Land movement as well. There can be confusion between the two populations. Legal scholar Donald J. Nedolitsky makes a distinction between the Canadian sovereign citizen and Freemen on the Land movements in that the Freemen on the Land, while ideologically heterogeneous, tend to be politically more left-leaning than sovereign citizens. In 2012, in Meads v. Meads, the ruling examined almost 150 cases involving pseudo-law and sovereign citizen or Freemen on the Land tactics, grouping them and characterizing them as organized pseudo-commercial arguments. In 2024, lawyer Naomi Arabi resigned her license after being suspended by the Law Society of British Columbia for filing a lawsuit dismissed as frivolous, making use of pseudo-legal arguments like those in the sovereign citizen movement. Lump the sovereign citizens in one word. The Aussie doctor lost the TARDIS, so he had to get a retardus. That's bad. In Australia, which now has its own tradition of pseudo-law, it imported the sovereign citizen ideas in the 1990s, even before the movement's resurgence in the 2000s. It later imported the more Commonwealth-specific Freemen on the Land movement. There is some crossover between Australian Freemen on the Land, local sovereign citizen groups, and some others. The core concepts has been tested by several courts, none of them being successful. In 2011, a climate denier and political advocate, Malcolm Roberts, later elected senator for Pauline Hans's One Nation, that doesn't help, wrote a letter to then Prime Minister Julia Gillard, filled with characteristic sovereign citizen ideas and vocabulary, although he denied being a sovereign citizen himself. From the 2010s, there's been a growing number of Freemen targeting Indigenous Australians, with groups using names like Tribal Sovereign Parliament of Gondwana Land and the Original Sovereign Tribal Federation and the Original Sovereign Confederation. OST founder Mark McCurdy, an Aboriginal Australian man, has produced YouTube videos speaking about the common law which incorporates Freeman beliefs, appealing to other Aboriginal people by partly identifying with the land rights movement. McMurdy played on the feelings of alienation and lack of trust in the system, which had not served Indigenous people well. In 2015, the New South Wales Police Force identified sovereign citizens as a potential terrorist threat, estimating that there were around 300 sovereign citizens in the state at the time. This is a problem in part with the English language. Many words sound the same, but spelled different with different meanings, as well as words spelled the same but pronounced differently. Oh yeah, that video of the comedian going through and the different pronunciations of different words that are, one letter difference or whatever else. That makes me laugh every time. I can't play it though because obviously we get YouTube struck every single damn time. During the pandemic, it accelerated the spread of the movement. Numerous incidents with law enforcement have been since reported. Some of them violent, such as the 2022 Wyambella shootings, which that coronial inquest should be coming up with their reports fairly soon. So I'll do a deeper look into that as well. Because I do want to see exactly what the coroner's report comes out on the police shooting. Because allegedly, those 3 that committed the shootings against police and the neighbor and shot the guy like execution style, had ties to soft sits in America, and there was all sorts of issues. So I'm going to be interested to read that. If I ever get in the car with someone and they got pulled over and said, I'm traveling, not driving, I'd say, officer, I feel unsafe. Let me out of the car. Sovereign citizen ideology reached the United Kingdom in around 2010. British sovereign citizens have helped spread vaccine misinformation. Really? As well as various conspiracy theories, including 9/11 theories and one about the Queen having been replaced by a satanic cabal, and try to set up their own cryptocurrency. The Common Law Court website, one of the main UK sovereign citizen resources, has for a time supported an imposter who claimed to be the rightful heir of the British throne. Okay, so they got a list of violent incidents. Okay, I don't really care about that. Where's this FBI thing? Now, I have no idea if this is legitimately from the FBI. I mean, it looks like it's made by some grade schoolers. But it does say that it's from the FBI.gov page. Oh, wait, no, this is the wrong one. Sovereign citizens, a growing domestic threat to law enforcement. They could be dismissed as a nuisance, a loose network of individuals living in the United States who call themselves sovereign citizens and believe federal, state, and local governments operate illegally. Some of their actions, although quirky, are not crimes. The offences they do commit seem minor, including regularly false license plates, driver's licenses, and even currency. However, a closer look at the sovereign citizens' more severe crimes, from financial scams to impersonating or threatening law enforcement officials, give reason for concern. If someone challenges, e.g. a standard traffic stop for a false license, their ideology, the behaviour of these sovereign citizen extremists quickly escalates to violence. Since 2000, lone offender sovereign citizen extremists have killed 6 law enforcement officers. To be clear, this article was from 2011, so in 11 years, they killed 6 officers. In 2010, 2 Arkansas police officers stopped sovereign citizen extremist Jerry Kane and his 16-year-old son, jumped out of the vehicle, opened fire with the AK-47. Okay, you know what? I don't want to read this because it's bloody, we've already been way too text heavy. Where's the one with the pictures? Here we go. I'm not going to read all 22 pages of this. Now, allegedly, this is a PDF that was put out by the FBI in, like, 2010. I got it off a website called Public Intelligence, so I'm not vouching for the, like, legitimacy of this in any way, shape, or form. Okay? Did he jump out the window like a dolphin? No, I've only seen that in one case, and God, that was funny. Sovereign citizens, an introduction for law enforcement. Yeah, I think after this, we'll break things up with some video, shall we? Ideology, indicators, political or social agendas. Sovereign citizens believe the government is operating outside its jurisdiction and generally do not recognize federal, state, or local laws, policies, or government regulations. They subscribe to a number of conspiracy theories, including a prevalent theory that the United States government became bankrupt and began using citizens as collateral in trade agreements with foreign governments. They believe secret bank accounts exist at the United States Department of Treasury. These accounts can be accessed using Internal Revenue Service, Universal Criminal Code, and fraudulent financial documents. You know what the scary thing is? The scary thing is that what these guys are claiming the government is doing is not that fucking dissimilar to what banks are actually being accused of doing as well. Just in a completely different way. Because what they're talking about is basically using people as collateral for loans. Whereas banks here are being accused of using loans that they've made to other people as collateral for taking out loans with other banks overseas. And that as a result of that, that's a whole nother rabbit hole for us to go down. We're not going to do that today. Respect for Novak Djokovic for refusing to take it to enter Australia. Well, given that he tested positive and then went and shook hands with a bunch of people, I wasn't too happy about that. Look, I get him for sticking to his beliefs. That's the main thing. Sovereign citizens are known to travel a country conducting training seminars on debt elimination schemes. The seminars focus on obtaining funds from a secret strawman account using legitimate IRS forms, UCC forms, and fraudulent financial documents. Sovereign citizens believe once a documentation is filed, they gain access to their strawman account with the Treasury Department. The purpose of this primary is to assist law enforcement in the identification of sovereign citizen extremists, activity to prevent and detect and deter acts associated with soft criminal activity. And if you question the banks, you're an insane separatist. Possible indicators for activity. Some or all of the following may provide an indication of sovereign activity. However, it is important to note that these activities may also be indicative of lawful, innocent conduct and in some instances may constitute the exercise of rights guaranteed by the United States Constitution. For these reasons, these indicators should be considered in the context of other suspicious behaviour and the totality of the circumstances in which they are observed. Documentation may be mailed or addressed to the Secretary of State, Treasury Department, or the Depository Trust Company. Documentation includes an apostille number. Documents contain the phrase accepted for value. Documents are notarized, even if not required. International postage rates are applied even for domestic mailings. All paperwork will be mailed using registered mail. Stamps will be affixed near the signature line or bottom corner of the page. Names written all in capitals. Name of the name will be written last. Wait, what? Last name. Name will be written last name, first name. So, John Smith or Smith family of John. Zip codes in brackets. Presence of thumbprints on documents, typically in red or blue ink. Typically on or near the signature or seal. SLS may follow the signature, standing for Sovereign Living Soul. Sovereign citizens often carry fraudulent identity documents. During a traffic stop or arrest, they may produce documents indicating law enforcement does not have the authority to stop their vehicle. Sovereign citizens may also write the term no liability accepted above their signature on a driver's license to indicate they do not accept it as a legitimate identification document. Sovereign citizens may also create and display fraudulent license plates. Well, we know that because we've seen that. Yes, grounds. Generally, sovereign citizens do not operate as a group or have an established leadership hierarchy. Rather, they act independently or in loosely affiliated groups which come together for training, to assist with paperwork, and to socialize based on sovereign ideology. Sovereign citizens also often refer to themselves as freemen. Note, the use of the word freeman does not inherently indicate a connection with any group. However, some use the term freeman in their group name. Others may indicate that they are a free man, meaning free from government control. I'm a little annoyed that they tried to co-opt the Gadsden thing. You know what's better than sovereign citizens? Ginger citizens. Right. Sovereign citizens believe that the US government is illegitimate and has drifted away from the intent of the Constitution. As a result, it is not perceived to be acting in the best interests of the American people. These groups generally do not adhere to federal or state or local laws. Some believe federal or state officials have no authority and will only recognize the local sheriff's department as the only legitimate government official. Other law enforcement officials are viewed as being oppressive and illegitimate. I'm wondering exactly how many of these people just read through the Wikipedia page like we just. Individuals who adhere to this ideology believe their status as a sovereign citizen exempts them from US laws and from the US tax system. They believe the Federal Reserve System, the Treasury Department, and banking systems are illegitimate. Therefore, one of the perceived benefits of being a sovereign citizen is not paying federal or state taxes. Exactly when was there a legitimate government? Good point. Sovereign citizens view the United States government as bankrupt and without tangible assets. Therefore, the USG is believed to use citizens as to back US currency. Sovereign citizens believe that the government operates solely on a credit system using American citizens as collateral. Sovereign citizens exploit this belief by filing fraudulent financial documents, charging their debt to the Treasury Department. In addition, they routinely engage in mortgage, credit card, and tax and loan fraud. I don't know why that's there. Asking a simple question. Steps that may take to declare their sovereignty. To declare one's status as a sovereign citizen, an individual may take specific steps to renounce his or her US citizenship. Once these steps have been completed, the sovereign citizens believe they're exempt from laws and taxes. The individual must first file documents with the SOS office declaring their sovereignty. Documents which are filed to denounce US citizenship include an active state, UCC1, copy of birth certificate, and a social security card. Once the received office files the documents, an apostille is generated acknowledging the documents that have been filed correctly. Once a sovereign citizen receives it, they view this as the US government acknowledging their newly acquired sovereign status. You're not wrong about the federal government being bankrupt. Well, look, that's a fair call. Had a guy tell me he didn't have to pay federal income tax because he was a citizen of the Republic of Minnesota. International rights of travel. Tunisia, tribal identification card, Unity, Washington Nation. An apostille is issued by the Secretary of State and intended to certify the authenticity of 3 parts of an official document. The signature and capacity in which the signatory acted, and the identity or stamp or seal are fixed. The one-page document is embossed with the Great Seal of the State and includes a facsimile signature of the individual issuing it. Each one is individually numbered, and this number will then be used by sovereign citizens on future fraudulent documents. Certifies a document as a true copy and successfully filed with the state. Certifies the authenticity of the state, the signature of the notary public, and the notary seal. It does not certify the validity or the veracity of the contents of the original document, and it does not certify the legitimacy of the original document, and does not certify the legal status of the document. See, Acorn. What is it, 40 trillion in debt? And do you think that anything's ever going to happen if any country actually calls it in? Like, I've heard people say before, you know, hey, if China just turned around and called in all their debts from America, what the hell are they going to do? Used to indicate the government has recognized the filed document as a true copy. In normal business, this document is intended for international use under the terms of the Hague Convention. Documents which have been notarized by a notary public and are certified with an apostille are accepted for legal use in nations where they're signatories to the Hague Convention. Once a Sovcit obtains a number from the state, these numbers are used by Sovcits on documents including fraudulent diplomatic identification, passports, driver's licenses, vehicle license plates, and law enforcement documents as a way of indicating they no longer maintain citizenship under the US government. Sovereign citizens believe that it is only issued when the state, federal, or local government acknowledges that a document is legitimate. Okay, so that just means that they're wrong. It's quite straightforward and simple there. Therefore, they believe that can be used as admissible evidence in court proceedings. Sovcits file numerous documents with the SOS office. The type of documents filed include documents declaring their sovereign status and fraudulent financial documents. I would suggest that maybe they stop issuing certification of documents being filed and received. Maybe just issue a receipt number instead of a formal document such as that. Like, surely there's got to be a way to work around that. Officers are required by law to file any document they receive which is in the correct format and has the appropriate monetary fee. Okay, that's fine. So issue an acknowledgement of filing. Don't issue a frickin' notice that's certified and has a seal on it. Jesus. Sovcits are known to utilize a number of fraudulent schemes to defraud banks, credit card institutions, and the government. Most prevalent is referred to as a redemption scheme. Sovereign citizens commonly engage in this type of fraudulent activity after a declaration of sovereignty from the USG. The redemption scheme is based off the belief that the government went bankrupt in 1933, subsequent to the passing of the House Joint Resolution 192, effectively removing the USG off the gold standard. Sovereign citizens believe that the US declared bankruptcy when the USG was removed from the gold standard. As a result, US currency, referred to as Federal Reserve notes, is perceived to be valueless credit notes. The monetary system is now believed to be based on exchanging one credit document for another. Annoyingly, they're not necessarily wrong there. Verbal engineering, printing gobs of money, quantitative easing. Monetary system now believed to be based on exchange credit. Sovereign citizens believes that this makes the US currency essentially worthless. Don't forget to ask Grok. Shit, what was I asking Grok? Oh, to explain Sovcits. Right. Can you guess who was president in charge of the House and Senate in 1933? Damn good question. I don't know American history, so you tell me. Shorthand for sovereign citizen term referred to release loosely organized movement of individuals in the US, to a lesser extent other countries, who believe they're not subject to government authority or statutory law. Sneeze. Liberty, for a split second there, I thought that maybe there was like a Joe Biden senior or something. Oh, FDR. Okay. Absent the gold standard, the USG needed securities to participate in global trade. Sovereign citizens believe the USG issued social security numbers and birth certificates as a mean to register US citizens for use as collateral to be used in trade agreements in other countries. Under this system, the US Treasury Department creates an account for each citizen containing their monetary net worth. What? Why would, even if this was the case, why would they create a bank account and put money in it as opposed to just using it on a ledger? Why would you actually put the money in the account? These accounts are commonly referred to as US Treasury direct accounts. These accounts are believed to contain tangible assets in the amounts ranging from $630,000 to $300 million. Sovsits refer to this as to the dollar value or credit. Sovsits believe that their US Treasury direct accounts are in the name of a third party created using their name. These third parties are referred to as a straminius homo, more commonly known as a strawman, corporate person, or government entity. Ay, caramba. FDR, the man who started his own camps where he had to concentrate but get a free pass, even from the alumni of said camps. Sovereign Sits use the phrase freeing money from the strawman to refer to extorting money from the US Treasury Department. Money from the... I don't think we need that. Using strawman to satisfy debts. Criminal sources of income. A number of individuals are known to travel throughout the United States teaching fraudulent techniques to discharge debts to interested third parties. A fee is charged to attend seminars which provide information regarding redemption schemes and other methods to avoid paying taxes. In addition to conducting seminars, several trainers are known to sell CDs and DVDs containing materials from the seminars. Sovereign citizens may sell fraudulent documents to other like-minded individuals. Well, no shit. Documents include driver's license, passports, diplomat identification, vehicle registrations, concealing permits, law enforcement credentials, and insurance forms. Some may also generate income by providing consultant services to those who need assistance in preparing sovereign citizen paperwork. Holy shit, it just occurred to me. There is a sovereign citizen version of Branca out there. Holy crap. That's funny. Sovereign citizens may generate income through the use of a mortgage fraud. There are many ways in which individuals propagate this crime. One example is a sovereign citizen first establishing contacts with real estate companies who identify sellers, listing the company who may be vulnerable targets for fraud. Sovereign citizen purchases the property using fraudulent financial documents and then has the property appraised at a higher than market value. A mortgage or line of credit is obtained utilizing the inflated property value. Sovsit either absconds with the funds or uses the line of credit to further fund fraudulent activities. In addition to the mortgage fraud, sovereign citizens are known to engage in other forms of white-collar crime, including money laundering. Go with videos. That last one I sent you is worth it. All right. And counties, arrest warrants, lawsuits. Prison tactics. While incarcerated, sovereign citizens may utilize the prison library to research federal and case law to determine new ways to create fraudulent financial documents and engage in criminal activity. They may also train fellow inmates, including to conduct fraudulent schemes to defraud banks, credit institutions, and the government. Okay. This doesn't really provide... This is more about how they do what they do, not more why they do what they do. Mortgage fraud is why there is home title lock BS. Okay, so now we're getting into appendices, so I don't need to talk about that. Title, glossary of sovereign citizen terms and documents. Oh, hello. 1099 form is legitimately used to report income. Oh, yeah, that's a tax document. Okay. Acceptance for value. An acceptance is an offer from a sovereign citizen which forms a binding contract with the receiving party. The value of the contract is considered the property of the sovereign citizen. Well, that's not how contract law works, but okay. If sovereign citizen rights accepted for value on a document, they're acknowledging the terms of the contract, recognizing the contract limits their rights and waive their rights to any legal remedies. By acknowledging the terms and limitations, the sovereign citizen is not indicating a willingness to adhere to them. Instead, the person is indicating a willingness to negotiate the terms of the contract. Well, an agreement to agree is not a valid contract. The squatters claim soft sit. I thought I saw a couple of videos on that. Wouldn't surprise me, but I mean, if you're going to argue squatters' rights, then you're acknowledging laws that you're saying that you otherwise do not believe apply to you as a soft sit. So, kind of apples and oranges. Since sovereign citizens believe the government operates on a credit system and not tangible assets, actual bills are viewed as one form of credit requesting payment from another. Therefore, the terms are negotiable. Examples of a contract for a bill, etc. Sovereign citizen receives a credit card bill which states that the amount owed on the account, an interest rate for the card, and a payment plan. By writing accepted for value on the bill, the sovereign citizen acknowledges that the contract was received. The amount owed, interest terms, and payment schedule are considered to be negotiable, which once accepted for value could be negotiated with the billing company. Oh, I agree. These aren't necessarily smart people, Bush. Also, if you receive a bill, you've already generally entered into a contract. Why would you assume that the invoice is going to be negotiable? Holy shit. Sovereign citizen is arrested based on past criminal activities and asked during trial to enter a plea. Since he or she believes that they're illegitimate and actually a corporation, they enter an accept for value as their plea. By entering this plea, they acknowledge that the court has made an acceptance contract which affects the sovereign citizen's value. The plea for accepted for value indicates the sovereign citizen acknowledges that they accept the contract, are presenting a counteroffer, and would be willing to negotiate the terms. I kind of wish I'd had this before the Darrell Brooks trial. It's literally a glossary of all the shit that he was reading out. Sovereign citizen will file an affidavit of fiduciary when a financial institution files legal documents against them. This affidavit claims the financial institution's lawyer will be representing the sovereign citizen. What? The lawyer cannot ethically represent both parties due to a conflict of interest, creating a procedural problem for the filing agency. Why would the lawyer for the financial institution represent the sovereign citizen? An affidavit of truth document declares that the filer is a sovereign or freeborn sovereign consistent with the traditions of natural common law. Although the individual may have accepted or used instruments of federal, state, and local governments, this does not indicate the acceptance on these. I'm now thinking that this is not a legitimate FBI document, let alone the fact that it just looks like this. This is more of an explanatory memorandum than anything else. I'm saying it's funny they claim soft sits do money laundering, so do certain politicians. True. A bit like the Family Guy episode where Peter declares his own country. No, that's slightly different, because like I said, we talked about the Hutt River province earlier on, and there are micronations that pop up in various countries. The more you read this, the more it seems exactly where they get their lunacy. Well, I mean, this isn't the wiki, though. This is supposedly a document. Thank you, Nicola. Appreciate it. The affidavit describes the federal jurisdiction as defined by the US Constitution, Supreme Court cases. The affidavit also covers the powers, contractual obligations of federal, state, and local government officials. I'm thinking this is some bullshit now. Not that I ever put any real veracity into it, but finally, the affidavit acknowledges revocation of any power of attorney the federal, state, and local government may claim attaches to the issuance of the Social Security and birth certificate. Why would they bother saying all of this as part of a document? Bills of exchange, fraudulently created to pay creditors. Documents will either appear or look like they are a letter or designed to look like a legitimate check. Fraudulent checks may be issued to... Yeah! Oh, my nose. Corporation sole, notice of arbitration, UCC filings. Okay, we're at the end of that. Paperback. Oh, I love that. Look at the related friggin' books. You got 1984 and you got Live Not by Lies. That's funny. Let's see if they've got a... Books. Google Books. Goldfish is in the house. Soft cover, used. There are currently 6 copies available that are in used condition secondhand. That's funny. Never besmirch the proud nation of Pretoria. Well, it depends whether or not he's gotten to the point where he's annexing Joe's pool or not. $198 pages of bullshit. Bloody hell. Ebook not available. If I use magnets to float a tiny island, can I declare it a country and myself as king? I'm thinking yes, but it would be invading UK airspace, so they could declare war on me. Dance, what you want to do is look into the the story of the nation of Sealand, Sealand, which is a nation that has been declared off the coast of the UK on an old air raid bunker that was built out in the ocean. It is possible, but I can honestly tell you right now that the UK government is not going to help you if pirates show up. I wouldn't necessarily be doing it. There's a game called Squirrel with a Gun. It looks like fun. Look at the one I sent you. The FBI thing has currency in it. That was the FBI thing you sent me. Constitution, Congress, SAR, FBI, Sovereign Citizen, PDF. Oh, hang on. So, hey, here we go. This. Sovereign Citizen Checklist. Yeah, okay. That again looks like it's pretty, Just out of curiosity, how many pages are actually useful or helpful? Well, I mean, if you're a soft sit, none. Sovereign citizen activity typically includes criminal behavior, generally non-violent, blah, blah. So they've just got the indicators. When making a court appearance, may not want to pass into the well of the court. Claim the court does not have jurisdiction over them. Request to read statements in an attempt to justify their sovereignty. Ask the judge, court officials, and attorneys or other witnesses for identification or verification of authority. Will commonly ask for an oath of office or delegation of authority. Present papers to the court but not want the court to retain them. Try to convince the jury that they have ultimate authority and should not take any directions given by the judge. You try walking into a court and there's a 4.0 version on Amazon. Give me a minute. You walk into a court and talk about jury nullification, the judge is going to shut you up awfully freaking fast. Defendant may invite other sovereign citizens in the court in an effort to disrupt, intimidate, or film the proceedings. The judge calls for a recess to try and figure out what the soft sit is talking about. The defendant may claim the judge has abandoned the court and claim authority to dismiss the case. Court officials may receive threatening communications, fraudulent liens and claims filed against the judge, witnesses, jury, and other officials or their families. Hold? Oh, no, I think... That's only showing me version 3.4. 230 pages. Oh, that's funny. Frequently bought together. Title 4 flag says you're a swag. Sovereign citizens. Deconstructing, decoding, and deflating the world's most notorious anti-government movement. That's funny. That's very funny. We're going to make a tiny 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter floating island, and if it gets recognized, I could get diplomatic immunity and visit the UN, I think. Dance, you would require other nations to recognize it as a country. No one's going to recognize a 2 centimeter by 2 centimeter area, okay? Hell, I don't even think that Sealand gets recognized. Sovereign citizens, a psychological and criminological analysis. No thanks. Screw it. I think this was enough of a dive into it, honestly. Because I don't necessarily want to read all of this over again. North Carolina appellate cases, buzzwords, strawman, de facto government, conveyance, references to the UCC, travelling in a commercial capacity, Aboriginal, who is the victim, copyright after a person's name, employer ID number, use of near with zip code, special trust deposit, dishonouring commerce, thumbprints on documents, man on the land. Weeks. Version 4 of the book is 494 pages. Good God. Okay, so what actually is the right to travel? The United States Constitution provides a legal basis for many fundamental rights for American citizens to enjoy, yet the phrasing of the Constitution can lead to different interpretations. When you see travel, you might first think about international adventure or holiday travel, yet the legal interpretation of right to travel is different. This legal right generally means you may move around the United States without the government impeding you. The state can't keep you stuck within its borders or prohibit entry. States must uphold the rights of the people, except as part of due process in specific cases. Your right to travel under US law does not include the right to use a particular mode of travel, such as a motor vehicle or an airplane, I should say. You must still qualify for the transportation mode. For example, you can buy a plane ticket and pass security inspection before a flight. Rights can be subject to limitations. You have the right to free speech, but that doesn't mean you can yell. Oh, for God's sakes. Why do they always go with that as the example? Driving poorly or without adequate training could harm others. It is in the best interest of everyone to ensure all drivers share the road and that they know what they're doing. State governments can require motorists to have a valid driver's license on public roads without violating their constitutional rights. The right to travel does not mean you can drive without a valid driver's license and proper vehicle registration. Public safety can override individual freedoms in context like driving. Roads and highways are public infrastructure. Dangerous driving can lead to potential harms of others. Travel is a right, but driving is a privilege. Yep, just as Bush put it. There is no right to drive, it's a privilege. You can walk across state lines all you like, just don't carry a firearm or try and drive a vehicle without a license. No matter what your state, you must have a valid driver's license. You also need all endorsements for the type of vehicle you're operating, such as a motorcycle or commercial vehicle endorsement. Driving without a license can result in significant charges. Even after getting a license, your permission to drive could be temporary. The right to travel does not mean you can go wherever and however you please. For example, you can't drive where there is a road closure or on private property. States can use license penalties and police powers to protect highway safety. A police officer can stop you on the road without violating your rights. The Constitution set forth the original text implying the freedom of movement and travel. Like many old legal documents, the original text was vague, raising legal questions as to how the country developed. Over the years, the Supreme Court has ruled on cases that affect the right means today, including Hendrick v. Maryland, which explains the basic relationship between local driving laws and the right to travel, Shapiro v. Thompson, which concerns whether waiting periods for state welfare benefits deter interstate travel, and Saines v. Roe, which evaluates the right to travel, how the right to travel impacts equal treatment between the states. Supreme Court decisions determine what your right to travel includes. They explain the boundary between state laws and your constitution. That would be a good place for me to actually read at some point. Open that in. Read those for myself down. Is the more stuff. Oh, that's the AFP slideshow on it. People have identified as sovereign citizens in Australia for decades. Traditionally, soft cits sought to disassociate from society and refuse to engage with societal requirements like paying tax. Historically, the soft cits took a stance in isolation or in small groups. Characteristics of the new movement is that it's organized, recruiting, and evangelizing, co-opting or overlapping with other movements such as anti-vax, conspiracy, and far right. Use of technology to connect globally under other soft sit movements. Strong belief that they're morally and legally correct, generally open about their beliefs and plans, tend not to conceal their identity or use discreet methods. Push towards encrypted communication is largely to do with being deplatformed by social media companies. Generally claim to be non-violent or acting only in self-defense against the government. Why they've blocked that? Oh, because this was released under FOI, that's why. Must have been some identifying stuff there. Despite arrests, similar movements are still emerging. All different other extremist groups, to other extremist groups, the potential for violence, fixation, harassment exists within these groups. With the restrictions easing, upcoming elections, overseas movements will likely all play a role in the future of the movement in Australia. AFP remains alert for soft-sit activity, particularly where violence is being advocated. Brief history. He's doing what now? Sovereign clits. That's funny. You know what? Been at this for 2 hours. I'm thinking, let's just watch some funny videos, and maybe we can do a part 2 so I can go through the rest of those documents. I did not expect the Wikipedia page to be that intensive, so in order to break it up, I might do a part 2. No, Titty Ball will be tomorrow. And we'll be on the Aussie Isekai channel as well. I'm not doing the LFL games on the main channel anymore. Okay, so
I just spoke to the sheriff, so they're gonna be coming.
All right, cool. I'll be pressing charges on all 3 of you. The sheriff works for me. He's the actual guy who actually works for me. And he has to do as I say, and if he don't, I'll sue him too. Simple as that. Maybe the sheriff knows about right to travel and can teach you guys a thing or two. Let's hope he does. Because I heard he was part of the Constitutional Sheriffs of America, which those freaking dudes are awesome.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today we head to the city of Hornwell in New York for yet another right to travel fail, courtesy of this particular insufferable soft sit, who likes to drive his wife's car around town on a suspended license, even after being warned not to by the city of Hornwell police during a traffic stop, which leads to his car being towed from outside of his house in front of his family. Now he's going to sue the police, the tow truck company, and the court. Oh, and the sheriff for refusing to arrest the police. Right, let's get into the video.
Okay. Pulled over. Today is... What's today's date? Today is September 11th, 2022. Hornell Police Department, once again, restricting my right to travel on public highways. They're on by horseback carriage.
All that, Billy.
This is worse than I thought, guys. This officer actually believes he's on horseback, pulling a carriage and not in a motor vehicle that requires a license. Of course, we all know he's quoting an out-of-context Supreme Court case, one that he will be butchering very shortly. However, that doesn't stop it sounding completely insane.
Now, I'm filing a lawsuit. Regardless, lawsuit is being filed right now.
Well, it's not. You're sitting in your car, dipshit.
What's the emergency, officer?
Emergency?
Emergency.
I stopped you because your inspection is out since March 31st.
Okay? Your emergency lights, sir, are only supposed to be used by federal law if there's an emergency. You just admitted there was no emergency. You pulled me over for a code violation that's under the commercial vehicle codes and commerce. I don't operate under commerce or vehicle. I am privately traveling in my private conveyance, and right now you have violated my rights. Violation, first violation, $200,000. You touched my vehicle, that's the second violation, it's another $200,000. Anything else you do from here on out, we're gonna up it to $1 million. This is your notice of liability. Okay. Okay?
$1 million.
Yeah, you've got about as much chance of collecting that $1 million as I have of convincing you that everything you say in this video is wrong. Impossible, basically.
I don't need a license, registration, or insurance, or anything to operate my private conveyance on the public roadways. You've already watched my YouTube video. I know you have. Watched every single one of you that watched it.
I haven't.
Oh, well, you're going to be on the next one. What's your name, sir?
Officer Emo.
Officer Emo.
Yep, I work for the city of Hornell.
Is your camera on?
Absolutely.
Awesome, thank you. I'm going to, before requesting that.
I just want to make sure before we go any further, you're not willing to show me any proof of identification.
By the Constitution and state law.
Best documentary ever.
I absolutely, positively do not have to, unless I've committed a crime.
Is that a public road?
Violated somebody. When you say I did a traffic.
You know, you know what? There's power lines running over it. That's another house there. Yes, I would say that counts as a public road.
Traffic violation, that actually means that I've injured somebody, damaged somebody, or sexually assaulted somebody.
And which is it based on again? Just so I...
Shapiro versus Smith have the right to travel upon public highways, armed by horseback carriage, automobile, or any other means of travel unimpeded.
This guy is really bad at this. I mean, he cannot even get the wrong Supreme Court cases right. The case you are trying to cite here is Shapiro v. Thompson, not Shapiro v. Smith. You're conflating two cases, the other being Thompson v. Smith, and neither one supports your claims. Link to why that is can be found in my Right to Travel Debunked playlist in the description.
All commercial vehicle codes, policies, state statutes, revised state statutes, and codes pertain to people operating the roadways in commerce. These roadways, they belong to me. They belong to that person, that person, that person. They don't belong to you. They don't belong to some government entity.
At no time did I say they belong to me.
Absolutely not. And so I'm asking you right now to let me travel on freely, or anything you do from here on out. I'm going to personally hold you liable, Mr. Emo, your Hornell Police Department liable for $1 million lawsuit for even stopping me. Right there with those lights on, that's a federal felony, and I will report you for it. You do not turn the emergency lights on unless there's an emergency. That's federal law, constitutionally federal law. Am I free to go?
No, you're not.
No? Am I being detained?
Not at this time. But
I'm not being detained, but I'm not free to go.
I know you don't have a valid license, okay?
Well, that doesn't matter. I'm not operating in commerce. Again,
listen, I'm not going to...
If you steal my vehicle, I'll have the sheriff down here arresting you for grand theft auto. Okay, you understand me? And the people who come here to steal my vehicle, I'll have him arrested for grand theft auto.
Of course you will, buddy. You keep telling yourself that. But tell me, genius, who do you then get to arrest the sheriff when he refuses to partake in this alternate reality you seem to have created for yourself? Because you seem to be running out of options.
Okay, I've had enough of this BS. Yes, I'm suspended because I don't operate in commerce. In fact, I'm not even suspended. I've rescinded my license because I don't operate in commerce, ever.
All right. Okay, so you're operating out of class then, based on New York state law?
I am traveling in my private conveyance.
Okay?
Okay, well, you know what else is traveling?
Okay, that's
riding a bicycle down the highway.
Sure, you don't need a valid...
And I don't need a license for that. I don't need a license for this. You know why?
Absolutely you do. Based on
okay, so you're telling me, by your New York state law, you're telling me, I just want to make sure we get this clear. You're telling me that I'm operating in commerce right now.
You're operating a motor vehicle.
Do you have proof that I have trafficking goods, or
what your argument is.
Because this is the world, this is the law, this is the Constitution, and you guys spend fucking 90% of your job extorting people.
Okay.
I don't care.
There's no extortion here.
Yes, there is extortion. You're stopping me because let me explain this for the people that know what I'm talking about here. You're stopping me under a commerce law.
You're not free to go at this point.
Okay, somebody needs you to read me my Miranda rights. I need you to read me my Miranda rights. I'm gonna need you to read me my Miranda rights now.
So you recognize federal case law, but not the law that requires you to be. And then you're going to rely on Miranda when he's not even interrogating you. Oh, he has the right, but he does not have the capacity. The cognitive dissonance is astounding.
Okay, that's third violation. That's $1 million, sir. Congratulations. Sorry, your ignorance to the law doesn't excuse misconduct.
This is a traffic stop, not an interrogation, so why do you need to be Mirandized? And no, asking for documents you are legally required to produce is not considered an interrogation. Stop listening to stupid people on the internet. Also, your claim that you are...
Exactly, people do not listen to stupid people on the internet, which is why I'm specifically saying do not hit that like button. Does the reverse psychology work? Because if it didn't, hit the fucking like button.
Not operating in commerce is irrelevant because driving is not just a commercial term. States would not issue both commercial and non-commercial driver's licenses if that was the case. Anyway, I'll spare you the 10 minutes of him just rambling to the camera and we'll pick back up just before the officer comes back with his ticket and a warning he was not expecting.
From the violations of these officers, I'm going to put a big house up on the hill to remind them. This is what happens when you mess with we, the people.
Oh, so you're one of these guys then?
What the people of Scotland have instructed me to do. I am we the people along with others here.
No, that's the thing, I'm not a person.
You're not a person?
I'm we the people.
You're what?
So just an FYI for the future, we the people is a collective term that refers to everybody who lives in the United States and is governed by the Constitution. But well done, you've made it onto an ever-growing list of narcissists who believe they speak for the whole country.
That's right.
All right, Mr. Adams, I'm going to explain these tickets to you, okay? You've been issued for unexpected motor vehicle, okay? Based on your state vehicle and traffic law. Your court date for that will be the 25th of October, okay, at 10 a.m. You also have been issued for unlicensed operator, okay, and aggravated unlicensed operation in third degree because you don't have a license, okay? You have a non-driver's ID only that is suspended, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, you are not free to drive away from here.
Oh, that's too bad. I live right there. That's where I'm going.
I'm not allowing you to drive away from
You sure you want to do this? Do you understand, Mr. Emo? I'm sorry, you're going to fucking listen to me now because you are a fucking public servant. And right now, I'm the public, and you're going to listen to me. I don't care. I'm not putting anybody in danger. How do you assume I'm going to put somebody in danger?
We don't even know if this vehicle is worthy for the road because you don't get inspected.
It's not worthy for the road,
because it's not inspected.
Do I have to make sure it's worthy for the road?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah?
Your state inspection is for.
You sure?
Absolutely. Come on.
Yes, you moron, your car needs to be roadworthy before you can drive on a public road. That isn't just the law, it's common sense. Something you are greatly lacking.
Everything you're saying, sir, you're incriminating yourself into a major financial lawsuit. I promise you, here's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna send the court a nice letter. And they're gonna send me a letter back saying, all charges dismissed. And then I'm gonna go down, file a lawsuit against Mr. Emo, the city of Hornell.
And that's your right.
It's not only my right. You know what else is my right? My right to travel upon the public highways thereon by horseback, carriage, automobile. You can listen, your ignorance to the law doesn't excuse your misconduct. 1, 2, 3, 4 misconducts right there. I'm not touching them.
Well,
have a good day, and I'll be heading home. Thank you, sir. Am I not free to go?
You as a human are free to go, but the vehicle is not free to go. I'll let you park it here and have somebody with a license come get it. All right? I'm cutting you a break. I'm not towing your car.
You're not cutting me a break. These right here is not cutting me a break. Cutting me a break is saying, you know what, sir, I understand that you're a man and I'm a man, and I understand that I took an oath. You took an oath to the Constitution, right? Let the people know you took an oath. Did you take an oath?
I did. Absolutely, I did.
You know why he let me go? Because he knew I could sue his ass. The sergeant, he let me go because he knew I was going to sue him.
Well,
Yeah, that's not what happened. I've already seen that video. The officer gave you a break, even though he probably shouldn't have, because he had more important things to deal with at that particular time, as he was working a checkpoint. But he did tell you that because you were
That's what I'm
driving
hoping
on a
for,
suspended
Bernice.
license, you could be stopped by another officer at any time, and your car could be towed. It had nothing to do with your lawsuit threats, but it did give you a false sense of security and confidence, which boosted your ego, hence why you're so confident now. A link to that video will be in the description for anybody who is interested.
And now and he's had this conversation with all of you. Y'all sat down and watched the video. You know damn well that if you went to a actual DA who understands the difference between codes, policies, state statutes, and common law. In other words, color of law and common law. You right now are issuing color of law. You've already did it. You're screwed yourself. You're done. You've already written them. I don't care.
Okay.
I've got half a block to go. Unfortunately, you're not being a professional, a man in your uniform with the oath you took.
Dude, if you've got a half a block to go, stick it in neutral and push it.
The professionality would have been like, sir, you're absolutely right. You do have the right to travel.
You were born before for this.
And what did he do? He let me go because he knew I would have sued his ass. And now that he's had this conversation with all of you.
I did not have a conversation.
Well, you know this. You guys sat there watching me on camera. You waited at that stop sign for how long were you at that stop sign for, sir? How long? I've seen you.
Do you think I just thought you were just coming along?
Absolutely.
I saw yours.
Absolutely. You sat there waiting for me because y'all saw I left 7-Eleven to get gas. You sat there waiting. He saw me coming into town another direction. I've got y'all on camera. You're going to look
really
stupid.
Hope you do, because that's not...
All right, well, here's the situation. I got a corner to go. I'm not walking home.
Right, because you're not driving this motor vehicle.
All right, these officers just screwed themselves majorly.
And you've just admitted that you intend on committing further crimes, which is the dumbest thing ever.
It does look like he actually tore
and
up the
now
tickets
all
too.
this officer has to do is sit back and wait for you to do a dumb.
Oh, no he didn't. I bet he bought beer and cigarettes. Probably.
Biggest mistakes these officers made. I want to let you all know. This one here. 1, there's 200,000. 2, 200,000. 3, 200,000.
He for sure is not going home.
200,000. That's $800,000. He pulled me over. That's another 200,000. That's $1 million.
$1 million.
He's not letting me leave my vehicle. Traveling down the highway. That's another $500,000. Okay? I'm not fucking around with these guys no more. He seems to think he knows and understands the law. He don't. And they're gonna lose. Now, I'm going to send the court a notice of special appearance, and it's going to cost the courts $100,000 for my special appearance if they don't pay me that.
Don't expect him to do.
It's going to be some serious trouble for all the public officials in this town. I've had enough. I exercise my rights as they are instructed by law. I even told them the frickin' code or the Supreme Court ruling on this, and he ignored it. Another instance of the law. Ignored.
Okay, so he continues to ramble on until the police leave. He then puts on his seatbelt, because of course he does, and then drives home.
Please
and
tell
then
me the
this
cops listen to
happens.
half of...
Where is he?
He's right here. He says he's going to tow your vehicle.
I'm sorry, you can't tow my. This isn't my name.
Yeah, but he's driving it illegally. I'm sorry. So
I know, but you can't tow.
Well, I gave him an opportunity to have you come and get it, and you're right around the corner.
I can't because I got kids
You
at
could have
home.
walked home, and you guys.
Yeah, well, go fuck yourself. You're in so much trouble, dude. You're going to get sued so bad.
Go in there.
He doesn't understand how...
He's out
already
of
at
it.
$3 million
She's had
for all the
enough.
things he did.
He's telling him to fuck off too.
Let him tow it. Let him tow it.
Oh my God,
Let him tow it. That's $1 million, Cynthia. Let him tow it. It's cool. Let them be stupid tyrants. They're going to get what they're going to get. You're going to learn the difference between color of law and common law. You are my servant. I don't work for you. You work for me.
Go in there.
Wow, this is one gross mischaracterization of the term public servant. And only a narcissist would characterize it in such a condescending way.
We'll call it even.
Though belittling and mocking is all they have to work with, because they certainly don't have law on their side.
Hey, dude, we're going to be so rich at the end of this, Cynthia. Don't worry about it.
They're gonna be buying us like 3 new vehicles. I know you gotta go to work. That's the best part, is she's gotta go to work and you're stealing her vehicle. That's called Grand Theft Auto, sir. And you got nothing to back you up to merit for it. So you're in so much shit, it's not even funny. Enjoy your YouTube exposure, Hornell PD.
I think you should be more interested in how your wife's going to get to work than whatever comes from posting your silly YouTube video.
I promise you I ain't paying a nickel to get this vehicle out, but I bet you I get it without paying a nickel.
Only if you break in and
Bet you'll be
steal it.
court ordered too. Anybody want to take that bet? You want to bet me? Anybody? Or is that illegal in New York? Betting illegal? Okay.
I just spoke to the sheriff, so they're going to be coming.
All right, cool. I'll be pressing
still
charges
time.
on all 3 of you. The sheriff works for me. He's the actual guy who actually works for me. And he has to do as I say, and if he don't, I'll sue him too. Simple as that.
Wow, this guy really is a legend in his own head. I've heard some doozies in my time covering these idiots, but that line right there is up there with the best.
Maybe the sheriff knows about right to travel and can teach you guys a thing or two. Let's hope he does. Because I heard he was part of the Constitutional Sheriffs of America, which those freaking dudes are awesome.
Yeah, but only if those dudes agree with you though, right? We will see what he thinks of the Sheriff's Department at the end of this video, and he won't be using the word awesome to describe them.
I didn't enter any contract with you and I'm not planning on it, so.
These are yours again, okay? You've been issued again for driving.
I'm not touching those papers, sir.
You decided again.
You're on my property, I'm going to ask you to leave.
Listen, I can take you into custody for aggravated unlicensed
If you
operating.
want to take me into custody, that's just going to make your freaking skyrocket even more. If you want to, go ahead. Just let me set my phone down. He wants to arrest me. He just heard him. Wants to take me into custody.
Here we go.
No, for real, bro. Come on. You've already stolen my vehicle.
Your court date's the same. It's the 25th. You've been served. Make sure you're there. I don't want to have to arrest you for littering.
This is my yard. Go ahead and arrest me for littering, you fucking tyrant. You're going to learn the difference between common law and common law. And unfortunately, it's a
Melbourne town where the suits all bright.
career. Your career. You're no longer going to be an upstanding police officer of the law. You're going to be known as that tyrant that stole money, stole a vehicle that was parked at home.
She's got the sheriff on.
All right, cool. That stole a vehicle that's at home. Tell that driver not to leave. The sheriff's coming for him. You too, guys.
I think
You
you did
gotta
at the start.
understand.
I'll go
I
back
hope
in a
the
second.
sheriff understands the right to travel, because if he does, he's going to tell you to take all those tickets back before you cost yourself.
He's a very good guy. I'm sure he understands exactly.
So much for
These
not
aren't
touching
my
those.
papers here, sir. Those aren't mine. You littered those in my yard. You set them on my porch. They don't belong to me. Yeah, I got you on camera dropping them there. You mean that all capital lettered name there? That's not my name. That's the straw man name. That's not who I am. Good luck with that one. That all capitals name you put on there, that's not even me. That's the best part, is you don't even have my right name on there. You've already screwed yourself. That's what, 4 more tickets, $200,000 per ticket, 9 tickets? Do the math. You touched my vehicle, another $200,000. You stole my vehicle, $1 million, bro. You guys have no idea what you're doing. You just think you're protected. You're like, oh, I'm doing what my chief told me to do. Come chase you down and give you
Might have to jump
tickets
back
and
to the
steal
start
your
of the video.
vehicle. That's what the chief told me to do.
Yeah, and you're only doing what your sovereign masters told you to do. The only problem is the police have the backing of the real law and not the pseudo-legal crap you spew out. And now your car, or should I say your wife's car, is on its way to the tow yard. So play stupid games, you win stupid prizes.
There they go. They stole it.
They
stole it.
Oh, God.
Sheriff's coming. They stole it. Going to jail, boys. Hope you like county lockup. Going to jail. Right there, buddy. Right there. There's the big middle finger for you.
Sean, please stop.
Sheriff on his way?
Yeah.
Cool, you're gonna have to say that they stole your vehicle, because you're the one who owns the vehicle.
I already told them that they did
Okay, cool.
during the phone call.
A few minutes later.
Update. After Cynthia had called the sheriff's department for a call for service, they sent it back to the city of Hornell, where Officer Murray answered, and they refused her call for service. Steuben County Sheriff's Department, that one's on you.
So does this mean the sheriff doesn't answer to you and only you then? Because I thought you said they worked for you. Oh well, I guess the sheriff gets a lol suit as well as everybody else for legally towing your car away. Sorry, your wife's car. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I really do hope you enjoyed this one as much as me. If you did, then please leave a like, share the video.
Son of a... Right, it did end without a...
I just spoke to the sheriff, so they're gonna...
For me, he's that simple too, which those...
Cornwall in New York. For
Hornell, City of Hornell in New York.
Police Department. Today is September 11th, 2022. Hornell Police Department, once again, restricting...
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed there were no tasers either, and yes, I too feel sorry for his kid. I'll have a look, see if we can pull up a... I'm going to put this one on, and then I will see whether or not I can find a update on that one.
Blah 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 blah. I'm not really listening.
Bro, I have the right to resist this arrest. I'm lawful arrest. This is unlawful arrest. Unlawful arrest. Get these tyrants off of me right now! Ah!
That's the same guy.
Welcome back to the Van Ballion channel, guys. Today we head to Circleville Municipal Court in Pickaway County, Ohio, courtesy of Hookham and Bookham. Fantastic name for a channel, by the way, where a sovereign citizen slash Chile de Castro acolyte loses his mind in court and gets himself arrested after getting into a verbal and physical confrontation with deputies when they try to serve him with a civil protection order. Right, let's get into the video.
You don't want to go to jail.
For what?
You read this.
Yeah. I don't have to listen to anything. Blah, 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 blah.
That utterance might just be the most sense a sovereign citizen has ever made.
Don't touch me, sir. Get out of my way. Freedom of locomotion. Move out of my way. Freedom of locomotion. Move out of my way. Move out of my way. I'm not listening to anything. Get off of me. Get off of me. Get off of me.
It's gonna go down hard.
Get off of me. Get off of me. I'm not listening.
Josh.
I'm not.
Civil sexual oriented protection.
Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, 'cause that works.
I'm not really listening.
Gents in the chat. Will that even get you out of listening to your wife? I don't think so.
Named in
I'm
this
not
petition
listening to
by harming,
anything.
attempting to harm, threatening, or following, stalking, harassing.
This is a grown man, allegedly, using the tactics a toddler having a tantrum would use to get out of being served a civil protection order. Now, that is both worrying and hilarious at the same time.
Stop grabbing me, bro.
Forcing
What's your name?
Josh!
What's your name and badge number?
All right.
What's your name and badge number? What's your name
on
and
your
badge?
back.
For what, bitch? What am I being arrested for? What am I being arrested for? What am I being arrested for? Tell me right now, what am I being arrested for? Obstruction for what?
Put your hands behind your back. You're going to get tased.
Tased for what?
You're going to get tased.
What the fuck are you guys doing? Assault, bro!
On your back.
Assault! Bro, I have the right to resist this arrest. It's unlawful arrest!
You know, just because you claim it to be an unlawful arrest, it doesn't make it so, in the same way that sticking your fingers in your ears and screaming blah 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 doesn't magically make the CPO go away.
Put your hands. This is unlawful arrest! Unlawful arrest! Get these tyrants off of me! Right now! Right now! Get these tyrants off of me now! These fucking unconstitutional pirates! Get them off of me now!
3104.
Get the fuck out of my face, bitch! Sit down. Let go of me now! Damn. Let go of me now, bitch! Let go of me now! Take that badge off! Take that badge off! Take that badge off!
Take the badge off. Now, where have I heard those exact words before? Oh yeah, that's right, they came from Chile de Castro, the man-child who literally agreed to fight a cop by the name of Leducator, but when the time came to either put up or shut up, he chose to make a load of lame excuses and run back to California. Yeah, we all know why you guys say take the badge off. It's because 9 times out of 10, you know they won't.
I got it. Sit down. All right. We're all right.
No, we're not all right. These guys are assaulting me in the hallway, and you're watching it. It's a violation of my constitutional right, freedom of locomotion.
Sit down.
No.
He got his cases overturned. Did he? Yeah.
Get these torture cuffs off me, bro. Get these fucking torture cuffs off me. This is a civil lawsuit that you just harassed and tackled.
I've been watching these kinds of videos a lot more lately.
You're not allowed to tackle people to the ground for a civil fucking lawsuit. You understand that, you piece of shit? That's a civil fucking lawsuit.
At least soft sit and Karen videos are a lot easier now that I'm working extra hours.
That's right.
Says the guy sat on the floor in a pair of handcuffs after refusing numerous lawful orders. Also, what about the rights of the parties serving this civil protection order to you? What rights do they have? Or is this just another case of rights for me but not for thee? Because it sure sounds like that.
Ow! Call an ambulance right now. Call an ambulance right now. My wrist hurts. Call a fucking ambulance. Yes, Star Squad.
Sit down.
No, I'm not sitting anywhere.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm not. Don't lay your hands on me, bro.
Sit down.
For what reason?
Because I told you to. You're in
what law
custody.
am I breaking?
You're in custody now.
For what?
Obstruction.
Of a civil fucking what? Obstruction of what?
We were serving a protection order.
You don't have the right to serve a civil protection order.
Yeah, we do.
I have the right to deny it.
No, the irony of him accusing law enforcement of harassing him when they're trying to serve him with a civil protection order to prevent him from harassing another party is amazing and should tell you everything you need to know about who this guy is. Also, the fact that he gets his legal advice from a guy who is currently sitting in jail is mind-blowing, but somehow not that surprising.
I have the right to deny that protection order. Get your hands off me.
Well, if you sit down, my hands would be off you.
Well, if you're such a free citizen to begin with, I wouldn't be handcuffed. Suck my. That has nothing to do with obstructing justice. I'm not listening to anything you say, bro. La 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 la. They just harassed me to the ground over a civil lawsuit.
I honestly do not know what's funnier, him doing the whole la 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 routine without sticking his fingers in his ears, because remember, he's in something he and his cult leader calls torture cuffs, all in a very lame attempt to prevent one of the deputies from serving him, or this deputy's reaction to his whole shtick. Anyway, the sergeant arrives and tries to speak to him, man to quote-unquote man.
Yeah, they don't have the right to do this, and they keep putting their hands on me. This is excessive use of force. Relax. Quiet. First Amendment right. Fuck you too, bro. Okay, that's fine. Partner? That's fine.
What's your name, partner?
I'm not identifying nothing.
Okay. I was just wondering who I was talking to, man.
You don't know who you're talking to. You have no clue.
All right.
I'm not accepting anything.
Okay.
Well, we're not going to sit here and listen to your mouth. Well, then you can go somewhere else. No, I can't. Well, then you better. No, I don't have to go somewhere else. It's like you don't have to go somewhere else. This is First Amendment freedom of speech. This is my First Amendment freedom of speech. All right, then don't tell me to shut up. You don't tell me to shut the fuck up.
You're trying to serve the heat.
Yeah, don't call your son. I don't have a son, so quiet. Yeah, quiet. You'd be an awful fucking oh, yeah, I probably would. Yeah, you'd be an awful fucking find out, wouldn't you? You'd hate to find out, wouldn't you? What was going on? So what was going on? I came here for court today, and these guys grabbed me up for a civil protection order. Okay. They're not allowed to touch me for a civil protection order. They're not allowed to touch me for that.
He was refused.
They're not allowed. I'm allowed to refuse a civil protection order. That's civil. That has nothing to do with criminal. That has nothing to do with criminal law, bro.
Listen, bro, you can refuse anything you like. No one is arguing that. Even a civil protection order, for which I'm sure there will be consequences down the road for you. But you've got to do it peacefully, not by screaming, shouting, and by laying your hands on another person. That's the reason you're in a pair of handcuffs right now, and no amount of gaslighting will change that.
So you were being served a protection order?
No, I'm not.
Not one that should be used in front of a judge,
And they
that's for sure.
physically accosted me and assaulted me to serve me a civil protection order, which they're not allowed to do. They can only do that if I have a warrant, you piece of shit. I don't have a fucking warrant,
Well, that's a
bro.
crock of shit.
Take these handcuffs off me now. I don't have a warrant.
I didn't put them on you.
I don't have a warrant.
We can get it downstairs.
Yeah,
we can be recorded.
Hello, Bob.
I
I
need my
would say
jacket
not.
ripped off me.
Did you claim they don't have a
You guys are
contract
such
yet?
pieces of shit.
I don't know yet.
Well, they may well be, but they're not the ones with a civil...
Holy crap, how are we only 8 minutes into this out of 18? What? Sure, oh, okay, it says get the popcorn ready. I'm assuming he just goes off.
protection order out against them, or the ones breaking laws to prevent that order from being served on them. They're also not in handcuffs, so you're not really in a position to be name-calling at the moment.
What's up? I just saw you this morning.
I did.
Yeah, before these guys came and harassed me.
Alright, well, I don't know what's going on. So
It's a civil lawsuit, bro. They're trying to serve me a civil lawsuit, and they costed me over it, which they're not allowed to do. They can only do that if I have a warrant against me. It's an unlawful arrest. Anybody who assists in this will be part of a 1983 federal lawsuit. What's your name and badge number, sir?
My name is Corporal Montgomery, so we don't have...
Look, it's fair. In this instance, it's arguable that the disturbance in the courthouse is a result of the actions of the officer, but the fact that he laid hands on them and they it's back and forth as to who committed assault first. At this point, they have a reason to actually have him in handcuffs, though.
You got your body camera on?
I sure do, sir.
This guy arrested me and accosted me over a civil service.
Pat him down real quick, Josh.
Yeah, you got. This is what you did this for, huh? You arrested me so you could grab.
Okay, it doesn't take the rest of the peanut gallery, though, to deal with this.
Yeah, not one of those officers wanted to lay hands on you, let alone touch you in some of your more intimate areas, trust me. And again, you made this criminal by pushing your way past those two officers as they were trying to serve you, and then by obstructing...
Oh, so he committed battery by forcefully pushing past them. That's pretty fucking thin, but yeah, okay.
And then resisting arrest. So good luck with that civil rights lawsuit. That will never happen.
You had no reason for arrest. What was I obstructing? Your civil service, and you don't even have the right to serve? You should be fucking ashamed of yourself. We have constitutional rights in this country. You hear me, goddammit?
You're a white guy with...
You know what a constitutional right is? I have the right against unreasonable search and seizure. This is unreasonable search and seizure. It's unreasonable arrest. It's a false arrest.
This is democracy manifest.
And you can keep repeating that line until you're blue in the face. It's
penis.
not going to change the fact that you initiated all this by physically pushing your way past two officers, because the thought of being held accountable for your actions by people you can't stand is just too much for your ego to handle.
My wrist, you piece of shit. You want to fucking take it out on me, dude? You want to take out your anger more on me?
Asking you a question.
Yeah, for my fucking wrist. For these guys are tackling to me to the fucking ground, you piece of shit.
You need to call me a piece of shit.
I'll call you a piece of shit all I want, because you backing these idiots, bro. You guys should be on my side trying to help a free citizen. Instead, you guys are arresting a free citizen for no reason. They tackle me fucking ground with no reason. Here, let's
If you don't want to end up on the ground during your arrest, it might be a good idea to not scream and shout the words, "I have the right to resist an unlawful arrest," while you're in the middle of resisting arrest. Just a thought. Also, I would love to ask the so-called free citizen he was there in court to help 2 questions. 1, what do you think about this meltdown? And 2, will you be using his legal services again after this performance? If so, please record it and send me the video.
Ow! Ow! Wrist, you piece of shit! God damn it, take that badge off and we'll go round and round.
There ain't no marks on them or nothing.
What's hurting on you? My wrist and my leg when he slammed me to the fucking ground, bro. Which leg, bud?
Thank you,
My
Boosh.
right
That's
leg,
exactly
my
what I was
knee.
looking for.
You gotta be a key, pick up some fucking bones, slam me on the concrete. Yeah, it's consciousness.
This is supposed to be a type of advertisement for his services. Apparently. Hang on. Just because I can't put it in as a clip.
Just a moment, you just assured me that I could speak.
Sit down inside the car. We're not assuring anything. We're under arrest.
Look, I'm under what? Gentlemen, this is democracy. Ta-ta and farewell.
So I guess getting in the car.
I really hope they played that video as they were lowering the coffin. I really do. Ta-ta and farewell.
One cuff, look. Dave and
You just fucking slam me to the ground, dude. Just talk to us. I need you to start a report right now. Cody Ryan Henderson. Type it in. We're gonna get you back to the front. We're gonna take some vital and see what's going on. Cody Ryan. Ah! Just tighten his up.
Yeah, well.
Hey, Cody, you gotta get in there. You're gonna get more.
Cat, he was reasonably famous for his arrest. He was an Australian con artist, but that specific news report made national headlines, and we've been joking about it ever since. And he only passed away recently, so it's sort of just, yeah. If I could get a half-decent screenshot of him, I'd use him as an emoji.
More charges on if you don't.
For what? I protested unlawful arrest. Ow! Ow! Ow!
Gave you 2 chances.
Ow!
Get in there.
Get in.
Ow!
Step, hold him there.
Ow! 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 Ow!
Oh, stop being a pussy and... Oh!
Best door slam in a soft six face.
Oh! No, hang on.
Ow! 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 Ow!
I don't know if he got his head there or not, but it looks damn close. At the very least, he got one of the dreadlocks.
Best door slam in a soft six face ever. Your thoughts?
It's an unlawful arrest. They didn't have probable cause to fucking arrest me, bro.
Unit 50.
You didn't even check their probable cause.
He didn't need to. He's entitled to rely on the other officers.
What was their RAS of a crime being committed?
Oh, for God's sakes.
What's the reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime being committed, sir?
You battered 2 police
asking you a
officers because you didn't
question.
want any documents served on you.
You're asking a question you already have the answer to. Either you weren't listening, which is possible, or you just didn't like the answer, which sounds a lot more plausible.
Unit 50.
Yeah, you don't have any reasonable articulable suspicion. Because you're kidnapping somebody and abducting them right now, and that's a felony. Chapter 18, Section 242, deprivation of rights under color of law. If you are to deprive any citizen of their rights, of their constitutional rights, that is a felony punishable up to 10 years in prison in federal courts. Chapter 18, Section 242, deprivation of law. Chapter 18, Section 241, conspiracy against rights. You are now conspiring against my rights.
Shout a bit louder. The residents in the next town over didn't quite hear you. Seriously, though, you forget or conveniently leave out the part where you made physical contact with the 2 deputies tasked with serving you a CPO. You then obstructed and resisted arrest, meaning none of your rights were violated. But I know you're not going to let a little thing like facts get in the way of this, so carry on spewing your nonsense.
This isn't going to do anything for you, bro. I'm going to get bailed out. I'm going to go get it dropped in court.
Dude, ain't no one
Because you have
paying
no
your bail.
reasonable articulable suspicion to arrest me to begin with, you pieces of shit. And you didn't even check their reasonable articulable suspicion to see if they had a reason to arrest me. You just agreed with it and nodded along just like a sheep. You have a noggin to use it. You have a brain to use it.
And
Start
you said you were a
questioning your
soft
other
sit.
officers because
So
some
why
of
are
them
you
are
why are you
not
spouting
honest,
off any of this
and some
shit?
of them are not truly law enforcement officers, and some of them don't honor their oath on the Constitution. And if you don't honor your oath on the Constitution, you will be charged with treason.
Blah, 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 blah. That's all I've got to say about that unhinged.
Fifth Amendment right against unreasonable search and I have the Fourth Amendment right against unreasonable search and seizure and the Fifth Amendment right to proper due process. And you have not used proper due process today because there is no reasonable articulable suspicion of a crime being committed.
Yeah, except for the
Raggy roast.
crimes we all saw you commit on body camera, of course. Are we all just supposed to pretend that doesn't exist?
Taser, 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 taser.
So I guess we're all just supposed to pretend the criminal damage being committed against this
When he
police
went through a
vehicle
depressive phase
isn't
after
a
Scooby kicked
crime
the
in
bucket.
the same way assault, obstruction and resisting arrest isn't.
We advise Mr. Henderson is trying to kick his way into my car.
You'd be pissed if you got arrested for no reason too, bud.
28 to 50. I'm heading your way. Do you need a 10?
You can't resist an unlawful arrest, dipshit. This will be dropped by next week, dude. Okay. Such a fucking dumbass. It's gonna be a huge lawsuit, bub.
Dude, you shut your fucking mouth.
I just filed a complaint against one of your sheriffs the other
Seriously.
day, so this is retaliation. I need to speak to my attorney.
Wait. You're a soft sit and the laws don't apply to you, but you want an attorney that works within the laws that you say doesn't apply to you.
Hey, buddy, you hear me?
I hear you. We can't do anything about that right now, can we?
Yeah, I need to speak to my attorney. That's an immediate right now.
All right. As soon as we can get you out of here, okay? I can't do anything about it while we're sitting right here.
So there we are, guys. Another moronic sovereign citizen turns a simple everyday encounter, well, maybe not for this guy, into an arrest where it's everyone else's fault but his. Right, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please...
All right. I'm going to finish out on this last one, which apparently is a soft sit from New Zealand. So...
Legal entrapment.
Oh, crap, I hit the wrong button.
Legal
no
entrapment
cops.
is unlawful
God's
and
sake.
is a crime. I do not consent. I choose not to contract with you. I choose not to contract with you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It does matter. You don't have jurisdiction over living. Stuff that. Oh yeah, there's a copper on the left and I'm swerving everywhere, so there's definitely an issue with my tyre. 100%. You the one. Oh, they're pepper spraying me.
She just wow, okay, this is gonna get
Van
good.
Balleen channel, guys. Today we head to New Zealand, courtesy of New Zealand Conspiracy Loons. Great channel name, by the way.
I'm sorry, what now? New Zealand Conspiracy Loons? Looking at this.
where a sovereign citizen / one-woman sociopathic vigilante, as the channel describes, gets pulled over by the police to perform an alcohol breathalyzer test. But instead of performing the test, she flees the stop, claiming she's been harassed. But the police chase her down, deploy spike strips on her tyres, and she gets her face full of pepper spray. And she live-streamed it all. Right, let's get into the video.
Legal entrapment is unlawful and is a crime. I do not consent. I choose not to contract with you. I choose not to contract with you.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
It does matter. You don't have jurisdiction over the living. Stuff that.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Killdozer 2.0?
Okay, so I'm being chased by heats. I think they have done something to my tyre. I've got, I don't know how many chasing me right now, but I need to figure out where the heck I am first. Hang on, hold fire. I don't know where I am now. I need my reading glasses. So he just pulled me over, saying that it was a license and alcohol breath test. It's not. That was a lie. They were called in for harassment by Glenda and Paul Carnegie. I wasn't harassing them. I was putting leaflets and posters in mailboxes. They are the ones who chased me down the street. So, you know, they were harassing me.
Now, why would you be getting chased down the street for innocently posting leaflets through letterboxes? Could it be because those leaflets contained the names and addresses of police and government officials you threatened to release because you're a one-woman sociopathic vigilante by any chance? Also, the police can breath test anyone driving a motor vehicle on a road without needing good cause to suspect the driver has consumed alcohol in New Zealand, so the stop was perfectly legal. What isn't legal is fleeing from the police.
Now, just make sure I know where I'm going. So I don't know, I think there's like
it's drunk live streaming on the run from the cops on 3 wheels.
From the right of me, one from the left. So I think about 4 at this stage, not entirely certain. Yeah. Look, legal entrapment is unlawful and is a crime. I think they have done something to my tyre. I think I am running bald at the moment on one tyre.
Something tells me, oh, you know what, no, I'm leaving.
So, yeah, anyway. We're going for it because...
Wardrobe, I highly doubt that was the only information that she included on there.
To my tyre, so I need to be really careful because I'm swerving everywhere right now.
I'm swerving everywhere right now, so the logical thing to do is increase your speed and go for it. What a moron. At least this is at night, reducing the risk of putting other road users in danger, I guess.
So if anyone is on the Motueka, Collingwood area and can come assist, and so where am I? There's cops coming towards me now. I think I better put some lip gloss on because chances are I'm not going to get a chance to again. Anyway, because my lips are dry, because that's what happens in these situations. So I can see coppers in front of me, blocking the road. Can someone contact Mark Thompson and tell him he may need to come towards me? I've definitely got an issue with my tyre. Yeah.
I think that's the least of your problems.
Yeah, the tyres are not the only issue from what I've been reading about you in the comments in the video source. Link in the description, by the way.
So, anyway. I don't know if they are blocking... Oh, yeah, there's a copper on the left and I'm swerving everywhere, so there's definitely an issue with my tyre, 100%. Now, if I stop, they are going to cane me, like fully cane me. I know that. And they're not going to be kind and shit. There goes my please refuel sign.
She ain't gone too far.
I think they are stopping me from slow connection, yeah.
What's she going to do? Try and pull into a service station, get some gas and keep going? Good luck.
I need assistance now. I am heading towards Mapua. There are cops in front of me, behind me. They have spiked my car tyres. I'm driving on metal.
Holy crap!
And they're bringing more in. Now, if I stop my car, they are going to absolutely cane me.
well, you're driving on rims, lady. You're going to need to stop at some point. So let the caning commence, I say.
So I need numbers now because I'm about to get another big meeting, I guarantee you. Alright, they've spiked my tyres, I've got a car in front of me, I've got cars behind me, my tyres come off. They are just relentless. There's like 5, 6, 7 cars right now and they are blocking my Facebook feed. I am driving on metal, I have my dogs in the back.
Oh, you bitch!
Assistance, now!
So she refuses to accept the law by refusing a breath test and then by fleeing, but now demands the due process of law. Typical sovereign citizen hypocrisy.
Stop. I am here in peace. I would like to have a conversation with one man or woman, please.
Good freaking luck with that.
What is your name? I want to see due process of law followed. What is your name, Sergeant?
Typical sovereign citizen hypocrisy. Refuses to acknowledge the law by refusing a breath test, but now suddenly demands due process of law.
No, don't go grab her. If you assault me, then that will be personal liability. I want to have a conversation with a sergeant. Thank you. As a living woman, that is my right. I've committed no crimes. I have said that I refuse to contract with you. I am not under your jurisdiction. However, I'm happy to have a conversation. I am not violent. Like I said, I'm happy to have a conversation. I'm not violent, but I also refuse to contract. So I'm happy for a conversation. But you need to tell me your name and show me your ID, as is required by law.
The law requires you to do this and that, says the sovereign citizen who disregards the law whenever it suits her. But not to worry, that due process of law you were talking about is about to be granted.
I'm curious to see exactly... You can hear the fur missiles!
Who is willing to have a conversation...
Oh, wait, no, it's probably her dogs. Damn it! I was thinking we'd see fur missiles.
...with me as a man or a woman?
Just listen to how stressed those dogs are because of what she's just put them through. That breaks my heart. And the only conversation you're going to be having is with a pepper spray can, so prepare yourself.
I thought the New Zealand police are supposed to be following law. I want to have a conversation. Right, what's your name? Are you the one? Oh, they're pepper spraying me. They've just pepper sprayed me. What?
Poor dogs.
What have I done?
What do you mean, what have you done?
And that no doubt was where the government jammed the signal to her live stream, I guess, confirming her suspicions.
Dude, fuck off. If you want, go back 2 days ago when we were doing Bad Cops, No Donuts. Like, seriously, if you're just gonna come in and do that shit and know nothing about the channel.
That the police possess such technology, so we don't get to see the caning she got from the police, which I'm really disappointed about, because she not only put other people in danger, but those poor dogs. Anyway, please subscribe to New Zealand Conspiracies, because that's the channel following this one-woman sociopathic vigilante.
I'm curious, are all these videos about her? I don't think they are, though. New Zealand Conspiracy Loons satire page. That's quite funny. They pepper sprayed her, but she didn't have any food yet. I'm more worried about the pepper spray getting to the dogs, honestly. Like, I think that the cops probably should have backed off on that. But, oh, anyway. All right, guys. I'm going to head out of here. It is 2:10 in the morning. Jesus, I went way too long. Oh, but anyway, as always, please remember you're not a piece of shit. You have value and you do contribute to society. We will do a... I'll probably have to do a part 2 because got plenty of things that we still got to go through. Still got to do the what do you call it? The Moorish side of things, and I want to look more at the Aussie side of things, and hell, we've always got to do a there's always more time for more videos. So, but anyway, as always, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, people, and I will catch you all on the flip side. I got to check with Jeff whether or not we're doing Lego tomorrow. Well, tomorrow my time, tonight your time. Either way, there will be a stream Sunday morning because we'll do LFL, but that'll be on the Isekai channel. So keep an eye out for the notification because I'll put one here as well, just in case. But yeah, as always, stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, people. I'll catch you all later. Cheers.
This shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Nope. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.